We passed the 2-year anniversary of TeaTime recently, right? Like 2 weeks ago.
That was a few weeks ago.
So we could say that this giveaway is for that. We could also say that it's for the new episode of Guild Wars 2, which released on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that today. But also, 5 years of World of Enders, guys.
Whoa!
And so yeah, we got this nice T-shirt, and we got this nice T-shirt, and the same nice T-shirt as before, and a nice hat.
Question: as a fan of World of Enders who wants to enter this, and I'm only into Minecraft stuff, what have you got for me?
Well, I could, if you want, before I send you this hat or one of these T-shirts, I could draw something from Minecraft onto the T-shirt.
Okay, cool. Yeah, do like a Minecraft signature on Guild Wars Simulated.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
So you guys are gonna have to tell me when I do the questions for the giveaways.
Well, you can just go whenever, man. If you see a segue, just get in there. Just get in there, dude.
All right. Okay, but not right now. Not right now. There's no segue. It's not an easy segue. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But
right.
we had a brand new patch, guys. We had a brand new map and brand new story. So where should we attack this first? What do you guys want to talk about? You want to go story? You just going to go straight into the lore? Just dig in?
I'm in.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I can see Inks is already on the verge of fury already right now.
I got to be honest with this patch. So much happened in this patch with the story, and I still haven't really processed it. I still haven't really sat down and thought, what do I think about this? I haven't really, because it just feels like so much to suddenly undertake. Like the entire episode could have just had the big reveal of the first instance, and then that's basically it. And then that still would have given us a ton to chew on. And then the final instance as well, obviously, is kind of ridiculous, and everyone's got a lot of opinions on. I talked to you a little bit about this already, Boots. On the final instance, you are a little bit less favorable of it, maybe, because you think that maybe.
I think the ending. I don't like the ending that much. The ending of the instance. What happens at the end? So we're allowed full spoilers, right?
Yeah, of course. Just go ahead.
Okay. All right.
It's got spoilers in the title and everything.
Yeah, but you put 2 dragons to sleep. You don't even see Jormag. You don't even. Yeah. You don't see Jormag. He's just asleep now.
That's good.
And
do you want to hear? But before we get deeper into it, do you want to hear my speculation for the expansion?
Sure. Is it Cogs of War?
You can call it whatever you want. We'll call it Sleep Time for Krakatorrik.
Wow, sleep.
Because we're gonna head north of Abbey, obviously, and Taimi will somehow rebuild the one-of-a-kind OMAD's machine that she doesn't even know how it works, but it just does. And we'll put Krakatorrik to sleep. But because Krakatorrik and Steve, the underwater dragon, whose name we don't know and have never seen, like Jormag we've never seen, he'll just fall asleep under the water off screen, and that'll be at the end of that. Dragons are all nice and wrapped up.
All right,
we can move on to the gods.
I don't agree with that.
Well, let's tackle something here. In this patch, right, 2 elder dragons fell asleep. We all understand this, right? Or they went back to the magic level of when they were asleep. Do they explicitly say they are asleep? I don't think they do they?
They said they pre-awakening levels
of magic, but they're still awake.
They may receding. Still be awake.
They're receding to their.
They're in a magic coma.
Normal dormant levels.
All we know is that we saw Primordius sink back into the lava and then not. Just be asleep.
Here's the thing. My impression of that, right? My impression is that that's not our Primordus fight. That's not our Jormag fight. That's not the end. That's not them exiting the story. I think we are. No, we are. I think that basically what this story, this episode story, is supposed to be a lot less than it actually ended up looking. Like, there's no way that they'd have, we're going to kill. No one in a writer's room would ever say, right, we've got a limited budget and scope for our Living World releases. Let's kill 2 Elder Dragons in a Living World release. They'd never do that. Yeah, they're not taking that away from us.
They just did.
They didn't. This is basically.
And in fact, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure in one of your lore speculation videos from a year ago, you said, wouldn't it be cool if we dealt with 2 Elder Dragons in one go?
Fighting each other. That's not them fighting each other. No. The idea was to
They
have
took
them
it and
interact
ran
and
with
have them
it.
fight
They said,
one
wow,
another.
WP's
No,
right. Should totally do that.
That's the thing. Fundamentally, I'm a bit more forgiving of this story because I don't think in any way it's reasonable to think that's the end of Prime Orders. That's not Prime Order X in the story. What I think this is the devs just pushing them to the side for the second, given a tangible reason as to why they're not the greatest threat, so that we can go for Kralkatorrik in the future, deal with Kralkatorrik, and then they can come back forward. I don't view that as the end of Prime Orders and Jormag. There's no way they'd ever do that.
I see your opinion. I respect it. But I would also like to say that giving the writers credit as well would be to say that they might do that, just put them aside forever. Because Primordus as an enemy, all the Elder Dragons, except for maybe Kralkatorrik as an enemy, and probably the Deep Sea Dragon too, because we know nothing about him. He's a mystery. But Primordus and Jormag are both known entities. They're both not scary monsters. They're just mindless beasts that we've already dealt with mindless beasts before in the Elder Dragon. So I'm okay with putting them aside and working on something more interesting than them. And
so wait, so you can't have your cake and eat it too, though. Are you happy that in your view, they've eliminated 2 Elder Dragons? Or
I would have rather they have done something else to finish that. But I'm happy that they are able to concentrate on other things.
Classic, you like the direction, but not the implementation. Situation.
Yeah.
Pretty much how I feel about the whole story.
Has there been any part of the story, Inks, that you like the implementation?
I mean, for this release, I'm not talking about all of season 3 because I thought most of season 3 was pretty good. As you've said before, I think it's probably the best work they've ever done. But this particular story, I'm kind of like an Elder Dragon myself. There's only so much Taimi magic that I can,
can't take it all.
that I can consume before I just go to sleep in the middle of the story, just like Jormag and Primordus there. And there's tons of it in this story.
There's a lot.
Taimi Ex Machina.
Should we rewind back to the start where Casimir gives us crap for not personally inviting her to Dragon's Watch while she's been off screen the entire season?
Oh, that's not major crap though, is it? It's obligatory, if anything. She's not actually mad.
Who? Casimir's mad at Marjorie?
The player character.
Us.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, when she starts.
No, she doesn't.
Didn't invite me.
We get a little Phil Donahue with Marjorie and Casimir in the middle of the episode, and then we move on to the reveal.
Well, I think the Casimir talking on the commander thing was pretty.
Guys, I gotta hand it's a good thing that Taimi had those mirrors just happened to be about the place. Otherwise we'd have been in real trouble there. Okay.
Oh, I saw someone complaining about that. Yeah. Oh, where did these mirrors come from?
I'd like to go story step by story step and find each Taimi Ex Machina. And it's littered in the story. It's the mirrors. Pretty much
come on, the mirrors. What is the mirror complaint? What is the mirror complaint?
It's not that big of a deal. It's not
anything. It's not a deal at all. Oh, they have mirrors. So what? Come on. That's really big.
They could have also used just the lenses that we use to concentrate. What's it called? Concentrate the light. The first time we went into the dragon light. Yeah. Well, the first time we went into that lab, we concentrated the light to kill all the Karka. Through those giant lenses. They could have probably used those again and put some silver on the back of it and turn those into mirrors if they wanted to, but whatever, who cares? But yeah, there's a lot of Taimi Ex Machina. The biggest one that I don't like everything else I could kind of gloss over, except for maybe also the whole OMAD's machine thing, just being able to manipulate, not only look at, but manipulate the Eternal Alchemy. That was a little annoying. But also is the fact that you go on this huge adventure on Draconis Mons to get specially magic shielded to get into this epically hot.
Yeah. This is the one I can't deal with. This is the one I can't deal with. This one I can fine. All the other stuff, whatever, fine. Magic. It's a machine. It can do loads of things, guys. This machine is it can stun the dragons. It's a good thing we had that, guys. But the fact that you go on this, you look. The only way you're going in this volcano is if you get this druid blessing. You got to get this druid blessing, or else you're gonna melt. Your flesh is weak. You're gonna all melty. But I don't know. Wait, who's coming down now? Oh, it's Scruffy, guys. Scruffy can do it on his own. Golem shielding, it's easy. You know, well, why didn't we just do that in the first place then? Why did you have me like running around finding all these vaults? You know,
it's doubly sad as well too, because the Scruffy 2.0 thing's been quite a long-standing thread now as well. And you'd hope that when Scruffy 2.0 comes back to the story, it's like this really cool thing that just doesn't annoy people. But in the end, it's just an annoyance, really, more than anything else.
Yeah. Does he look different than Scruffy 1.0?
Yeah, he's more mechy now, right?
It's very different.
Yeah. She's in him now, wasn't she? Like riding it, the old one, but now she's like full on.
No, she was inside the other one, but the cockpit was a lot smaller. This one's a lot more plush and
and it's got it's visible as well. You can see into it, right? It's got a screen as opposed to just like a.
And she's not standing on him anymore. She's
not frosted glass. Yeah.
Honestly, it's a great model. The model is actually really good. I will give them that.
The thing is, that thing with the getting the heat resistance and then the golem comes and turns it down is one of those weird things, because again, like, what happened? Do you think you'd be, anyone here, because I think everyone's in agreement that was a bit annoying, would you guys be as annoyed if the mechanics didn't have that be such a big part of the gameplay? Like, it seems like that's where gameplay makes it feel worse than it really could have been. Like, in terms of the story, it's just, oh yeah, go find some protection. That could have been done in like 2 minutes, and then maybe her reveal wouldn't have been. So that's like where gameplay starts to make the story feel more salty than it actually
is. Strange. It's strange that if Taimi had given me some sort of machine that shielded me from the heat, just as like, oh look, I have this heat shield you could just put on your body and now you're shielded from the heat, that would make me less upset than having to go through this epic storyline. Like, I was really happy going through this. Oh man, I'm talking to these ancient druid spirits. They're giving me this awesome spell. This is really epic. As I was going through the story, I was like, this is the most epic story I've ever had. As I was descending into the mountain, I was like, this is the most epic story I've ever had. And Taimi just bypasses the whole thing.
Yep, she just plops in out of nowhere and hands you an iPad and says, there you go, Commander, and now you can get to the bottom.
Scanning stuff. Scanning everything.
Start playing Candy Crush on your iPad while you wait to get to the boss.
Yeah. See, all right, I'll go out and say it then, and I know I've got inks on my side for this. The thing where she's in the machine didn't really. It was a little bit annoying, but that didn't set me off too much. What annoyed me about Taimi in this patch, and I don't want this whole thing to be just me saying what annoyed me, but what annoyed me about Taimi is that she's there at all. It's just like. This is the in terms of like just raw lore, right? If you just go big scope, right? The fact that we're in a scene here with an elder dragon and a god, all right? It doesn't get more broad than that. It's not been as big as that. I'm trying to hide from the word epic there, though. But this is a big moment. You have such a cool scene. I think the presence of a stupid little Asura girl who's barely that mature in that scene, you put her in that scene, I think she drags it down. I think she strips it from so much of its gravity, right? And so much of its weight.
And she does that all the time in the story. And this one is especially bad for it, but she is just a constant thorn in my personal side. I cannot stand, and it has nothing to do with the voice actress. It has everything to do with the character and how they use the character and what she stands for in the story. I can't stand
Wow,
her.
You actually seem to like her even less than I do. I'm pretty
I don't mind her that much. I don't mind her that much, but I did not like the Time Makes Machina in this story, in this particular episode. It was
on top of this. So there's a conversation that happens about midway through the story before you get into the volcano, before you free all the druids, where she says, "Oh my God, Commander, I just did some tests. You got to come all the way to the start of the map and watch this holo recording or whatever." And you see the two dragon orbs fighting, and then it blows up Tyria if those two kill each other, right?
Yeah.
Which we all pretty much knew was going to happen. Like, there was going to be some point where they were going to stop us from killing elder dragons. But then she goes on this long dialogue about, I was tired, I didn't get any sleep, and it's all my fault, and everything is my fault. And it's like, you weren't even here when we killed Zaitan with a giant laser ship. Okay, you weren't even around. So the first elder dragon that we killed had nothing to do with you. And what the hell did you do in Heart of Thorns that helped us kill Mordramoth?
To be fair,
what exactly did you do?
She has carried us
recently.
She went to the Dragon Lab and she revealed that they're weak against one another. Come on, which was the Ratanovans research. Like they could have framed this better, right? Like I get that they want Taimi to be a big part of the story, and I get that some people obviously really like her and stuff. But all this there needed to be a very slight perspective shift, where instead of it looking like Taimi's magicking all of these solutions out of her arsehole, instead it's supposed to be that she's borrowing from the Ratanovans, that she's pulling from their research, and she's digging deeper into the Ratanovas archives, and she's got like the hindsight of, you know, an extra 200 years or whatever on top, and because of that she's able to piece other things together. It's like, you know, that old quote of, it's not my accomplishments, but I would never be able to see so far if I wasn't stood on the shoulders of giants, or whatever that thing is. That's what if they'd done that, then it could have felt a lot more natural if they absolutely had to go the Taimi angle for this. But then they kind of don't. They don't give it the time it needs, you know?
I think the only reason Taimi was so heavily used in this episode is because if they wanted this final showdown here with Primordus and Balthazar with this machine, they needed Taimi there, because how the hell are you, like, it would be another Ex Machina if you suddenly understood how to like manipulate this machine, program it, whatever. So she had to be there, but that's a terrible thing because it made things less good. So here's maybe a more interesting question, right? Because this gets thrown out a lot. Whenever the devs have given us a solution to the Elder Dragon problem, people, myself included, have been prone to complaining that it's concocted from nowhere, that it was, you know, a Deus Ex Machina. What is a satisfactory conclusion to this? To the dragons?
Yeah, well, you know, what is the difference?
It's a very good question.
I think it's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to execute in the game setting, isn't it? Because if they're pretty big just on their own, so you know, our little fireballs aren't going to do too much.
Yeah.
So it's you know, it's a really legitimate question. How are you going to have this big battle? Do you just have, because the thing is, you know, you can only have like one player a lot of the time. Like a lot of people are going to be playing with one player, right? So whatever one player does against the dragon it's going to seem a little bit ridiculous at the end of the day, isn't it? And you know, it kind of does in the living stories. Yep. Well, me and Taimi took him down, no problem. And Balthazar, easy. You know, God, 2 dragons, job done, easy peasy. But then, you know, if you have like an army of NPCs helping you or something, that kind of sounds a bit, you know, does that do it as well? That's what they tried to do with Zaitan, right? You had the big battle, and that, you know, that wasn't exactly well received. I mean, maybe they could have done something a little bit better, but, you know, still.
The thing is, like, Zaitan, maybe they could have nailed it if, like, I don't know, they'd just gone a little bit more into the development of that airship instead of it appearing nowhere. If like if that airship, the Glory of Tyria, had started seeding into the story around level 30, and you'd gradually got that kind of experience. You didn't build it, you knew that other intelligent people were building it, but it was like more slowly introduced. Maybe that's what it needed. It's just that we haven't had a real slow burn. Like, right. Morgemoth was killed. I don't even want to get into it. Just completely ridiculous. Oh, we, you know, like at the last moment.
Inception him, hell yeah.
Yeah, right. Zaitan was not a slow burn either. The Glory of Tyria basically comes out of nowhere. The chances you have of seeing that earlier are like very, very, very slim. There's so much of that in the core story as well. Like even cleansing ore is like introduced at the last second. And then maybe the problem here as well is that it's questionable that Taimi can do anything at all, but it seems to be the whole Omad's machine is the answer at the last second, you know? And maybe it's that, maybe that's the problem. That they want to make the plan to destroy an Elder Dragon a twist rather than a coherent long part of the story, you know, an inevitable end. Maybe that's where they're going wrong.
So so Omad's machine literally tied into the Eternal Alchemy and altered it. Is this what happened?
I don't really know.
Dragons.
Well, even Taimi says she doesn't really know how it works.
Right, because, you know...
That's what's so bad.
Explanation. You don't even need an explanation.
I think, that's the general... Well, I mean, we saw our little demo, didn't we? They're going to get those orbs, and they're going to smash them into each other, and they cancel out and then destroy the whole planet. Well,
somehow Balthazar knows how it works, because he was able to turn it on and stand in the beam of light and power himself up.
He's a god, though, Inks. And he's very magically adept.
It's not a very good one, but yeah.
Found out. Yeah, he sucks.
I'm okay with that, though. You got Inks, do you not like that Balthazar was too weak?
No, and I think that there's I have no problem with that, actually. I think that's going to lead down a much more interesting story than here's Balthazar fully powered and he's going to smite everybody. I think him being weak is going to make it more believable for the story going forward, rather than him just being, full powered God mode and destroying everything around him.
Yeah, I agree. I like that he's weak.
I think now we could move past all the criticisms we have of the story and go into speculation and lore, because this is basically where we are right now.
Well, hold on. So how did you feel about the reveal of Balthazar, though? Because I really did not like the reveal.
No?
What do you mean?
I mean, it kind of came a bit out of left field, but I think it's a twist, right? It's a good twist.
From the different people that I've spoken with, the different podcasts I've done throughout the week, there seems to be generally two camps of people, more or less, and that is people who just like the out of left field surprise. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. And then there seems to be people like me who like the M. Night Shyamalan kind of reveal, where you can look back in the story. You like M. Night Shyamalan? That's right. You can look back in the story and sort of see the breadcrumbs that just weren't obvious before.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And Balthazar just doesn't, besides people pointing to, hey, look, fire, and he said, I'm a god at one point. Like, that's all stuff that Lazarus would do anyway. He's playing within the character. That's not really a breadcrumb of a reveal later. The only reason Balthazar came up on any of our scopes for players wasn't because of the story. It was because somebody started talking about it on Reddit and in videos and pushing that idea.
Yeah.
Right.
So actually, that's a good point. WP, so somebody came on your stream, I guess you said? And
yeah, so the Balthazar thing for me is really funny because around when episode 2 came out, and we got the Fire Island Chain, that was pretty left field as well. The next map could have been anywhere, and it went Fire Island Chain in the end. And there was reason to believe maybe we could go there, but it was for all stuff that the story hasn't touched, like, Ritlock and Sahothin and all that kind of other stuff. So there was really no breadcrumb that the Fire Island Chain was going to be a thing. And yet I had noticed in my YouTube comments, people had been talking about the Fire Island Chain in like a weird way, essentially a leaky way. And so after that happened, I started paying a bit more attention to my comments. And I noticed some people started talking about Balthazar way before they should have been talking about Balthazar, way before anything should have been going on at all. I remember when I first saw it, it was so weird. I just thought, Balthazar's got no reason to be in this story. I never in a million years would have, well, maybe I would have eventually, but especially with the last trailer, which had a lot of fiery stuff, maybe you could go there. But especially before that last trailer, Balthazar was really left field. There was really nothing much that's tangible to dig into there. And yet there were these very weird comments sometimes where people were like, not saying I speculate that Balthazar will be coming to the story, saying stuff like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Balthazar coming into the story. I'm looking and like, just being really blunt. And it's like, oh man, like, that's I remember looking back at that. And so, yeah, like on one of my streams, I was open about it. I was like, this is a weird thing. I wonder if this is like the Fire Island Chain again. And then this release came out and Balthazar did come in the story. So like, I honestly can say, I don't think I would have been thinking about Balthazar had it not been for that.
Yeah, except when you think about it, you're talking about breadcrumbs, Jinx. I think that there were more breadcrumbs for Balthazar than any other possible character.
Like, such as what?
Well, okay. The fire, yes. The fact that he said, I am your god to a bunch of humans. And that what else is able to absorb a ridiculous amount of energy from a bloodstone? Something like a god.
That is the one thing. But it's not enough. Yeah. I agree with Inks. It's not enough.
It's not enough. Well, it's not enough, but it is more than any other character in the story.
But listen, they've picked Balthazar. The fact is Balthazar, by the way, is actually pretty cool. That Balthazar is the most likely out of all the gods. He's always been the weirdest, the shakiest. He's always been the one that you could, I can see doing what he's doing, right? But Balthazar's got a lot of meat to dig into. Why, if this was the choice, has there been no like sly reference to like Menzies or the Shadow Army or the Eternals or anything like that? There could be any number of those things. What just happened?
Damn it, I wanted to interrupt you so badly.
Oh, sorry. But why haven't these things been in there? Because those are the breadcrumbs that would make people think, hold on. And it only has to be really minor stuff. If this was going to be a thing, maybe when Heart of Thorns was being concepted, why wasn't there a little bit more than just the Balthazar temple with a hero challenge or whatever? Like, there were so many more opportunities to give people something to latch onto here that they didn't take.
I wanted to interrupt you because I wanted to ask a trivia question. It might be a little spoiled right now, but we're gonna do a trivia question. We're gonna do a trivia question for the first thing. It's gonna be this T-shirt right here. It is an extra large. Enjoy. And
so suitable to most MMO players.
So the trivia question for this awesome first person to type into chat, should you put it into like non-spam mode or something for this?
Well, they're not going to spam.
Okay, all right.
They're gonna
first person to answer with the correct answer gets it. You have to
NA. You have to let them know.
To make sure Boots gets the answer, do @World of Enders, right? In chat.
Yeah, at World of Enders. Okay. Oh no, at Bootspur.
Oh, Bootspur. Yeah, you're not
At
World of Enders, are you? Honestly, I have no idea who you are.
World of Bootspur.
So,
World of Boots.
So everybody's currently putting in the answer before I can do it. It was gonna be what is Balthazar's brother's name? But it's not gonna be anymore because WoodenPotatoes spoiled it.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so instead it's gonna be what NPC or creature found in fractals is most likely a minion of the deep sea dragon?
Ooh. Okay.
Do we answer that now or what?
No, wait until they
yes, answer it. Answer it. Tell them.
Oh, we got it.
Oh, there you go. Someone got it.
Cheesington got it. Jade Ma.
There you go.
Well,
in fairness, for the next ones as well, in fairness, people should like refresh their the stream
to get the delay off.
Yeah.
Make sure there's no delay.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, there you go.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Cheesington.
Cheesington.
All right, so there was a lot of things about the story I just didn't really like. Why don't you guys talk about what you liked about the story?
Well, I really like the map, and I think the final boss fight was really cool. I mean, look at that boss fight with the dogs. It was pretty awesome.
I really
it was
liked,
a really fun fight.
I really liked how epic it all was. The whole thing was pretty epic. Even if you ignore the stuff that kind of reduced the epicness, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I actually had a real problem on the last instance. This is not something I liked about it. I don't know. Does anyone in chat suffer from this? Because this is the first time I've suffered. There's a bug in the game right now, and it sometimes hits in story instances where the music won't play. And so when I did the last instance, there was no music. And I can't tell you how weird and muted and odd and just bad that felt without music. It was. Really? I was like, oh, people are going to hate this. And I thought that the community was being way too forgiving about the patch until I realized, oh, I just missed all the new music that they scored for it. Okay. Yeah, it can happen apparently.
Huh.
So
I play
awful.
with my music really low, so I usually don't hear it anyway.
Yeah, basically, I want you to picture this, right? Like you're in this epic moment, Elder Dragon, a god, all these beautiful environs, and it's just quiet. Basically, there's just nothing going on except the characters having a very casual conversation, like Taimi going, "Daddy, I'm Taimi, but nothing else, like just silence. And like you'd think it would be eerie in a cool way. It was just like I was like, oh no, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This should be an expansion. This shouldn't be a living world. This should be an expansion. But yeah, with the music, it's a lot better.
I mean, they got to get rid of some of the Elder Dragons, man. How many expansions do you want them to do? You could one every expansion.
No, I want
could
like,
take a while.
I don't want to fight the deep sea dragon. I want the deep sea dragon to be like a good guy.
Mystery.
I want to kill two.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, he's scary, but I reckon it'd be cool if he ended up being a good guy
like
somehow.
Kunavang.
Yeah, like I don't know, like kind of we want Aurene to grow up and be a good Elder Dragon. So why not just have one already, right? So you don't need an expansion on that.
I want Balthazar to eat Aurene, but anyway.
Well, I mean, we, the characters in the world.
She's a Scooby snack.
She's a Scooby snack.
Oh my.
But yeah, like, and then you can kill two at once. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't need
okay, so I got 3 pages of notes. We're gonna go through them one by one. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about Balthazar for a while, right?
Yeah. Well, if we just go to the reveal, I actually thought if you some little silly stuff aside, I actually think the reveal was kind of cool. Actually, I thought the fight with him was pretty cool as well. You know, the way he's kind of following you around all droopy, and he tries to smite you, and he drops fire on you. No, I think actually in terms of gameplay, I actually thought this patch was really, really good in terms of gameplay for sure.
Using the special action hotkeys on the dogs and stuff.
And the direction the story goes in I think it's pretty cool as well. You know, bringing Balthazar, bringing those gods back in. You know, I love this stuff. We see Primordus in terms of actual story content. I think it's a really, really good patch, actually.
That's what I like most about the story. It's that it opens up much more to the story of Guild Wars 2 than we had before.
Some of the execution is kind of, as we've gone over, it's mildly annoying.
Yeah, we've gone over that.
But no, in terms of the actual content is actually really, really good, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, let's start speculating a little bit. Why do you guys think Balthazar was at such low power before even sucking up the Bloodstone?
I have learned there is no honor in war. They have dimmed my light. Those are the two things he says that you can draw on for that.
He also said they abated me. They dimmed my light. So abated is also a it's kind, you could say it's sort of like dim my light, but it's the word abated means, no longer fighting, no longer at war with things. So my guess is it has something to do with the fact that there's been peace for 250 years pretty much. And also possibly, we don't know what happened with the conflict in the Fissure of Woe with Menzies. Maybe he killed his brother. Maybe he finally won against Menzies.
I was going the other way. I thought it could be the alternate that Menzies won somehow. I think there's a really interesting idea there where he mentions they dimmed my light. Menzies' armies are the Shadow Army, and I think there could be a really interesting play, like whether it's metaphorical or whether it's something more tangible that they go with. But the idea that maybe Balthazar loses and the shadows of Menzies like crowd him out or something. Menzies ends up getting the favor of the other gods instead, and then Balthazar's essentially in Menzies' position as more of a demigod. Thing is, we have very little lore that properly explains like what the idea of even being a demigod is, right? Or what the relationship between Balthazar and Menzies really was. There's really not that much in the Fissure of Woe that talks about it. But I think that's what and the word abated is really cool as well, because Balthazar was the god of war. I don't think it was because of any reference to wars on Tyria, but that he was eternally at war in the Fissure of Woe. And then to think that conflict has come to a conclusion, no matter who the winner is, yeah, maybe that strips him away of a fundamental aspect of what he is, of who he is, and leads to his downfall.
The way what I actually think is that it does have a lot to do with actual wars going on, because when the gods came to Tyria the first time around, this is from the wiki. At some point, still unknown in the past, powerful beings known as the 6 human gods traveled to Tyria, bringing humanity with them, ushering a new age. Under the guidance of Balthazar, humans spread and conquered lands across the world. The oldest known being Cantha, blah, 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 went to Tyria, Lona, established kingdom, encouraged by Balthazar, humanity continued to spread across the world, waging wars with the native inhabitants and pushing them from their lands. In time, they established Ascalon, etc. So I think Balthazar only has a lot of power, and his power grows when there's a lot of war going on. And I think he encourages people to continuously be at war. And I think that's why his power is low right now, because his war with his brother probably ended in some way. There's not really wars going on in Tyria, and he needs something to happen.
So he's trying to start a conflict with the dragons, and what's his end game with the dragons then in that case?
Well, I think
he's trying to drain them, just get the power.
He's just trying to drain the power of the dragons, yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does start a lot of conflict here, because that's what he does.
Sure.
I don't know whether there's enough precedent in the world building for that. We've never really seen that the gods draw power in such ways. They're more just hosts for power, for magic, or they're vessels for it more than anything else. I don't think whether what's going on Tyria really matters a damn for what Balthazar cares about in that respect.
I don't know about that though, because the gods are as much a part of the eternal alchemy as the dragons, and I wouldn't be surprised if they work very similar to the dragons.
Right, but the dragons are just sponges for magic. You're talking about the fact that he draws power from people slaughtering one another in battle,
and people worshiping him.
Right, but the people are saying like the gods don't draw power from people praying.
Yeah,
or
they don't care if you
them.
worship them. They don't.
And the story that we've been thrown at in season 3 now about how magic works on Tyria, which is I think what they're slowly explaining, and even what they're trying to explain in Fractals. I just think it's about magic. I don't think it's about him being powered by a war or.
You've got to understand as well, like the fact we call him Balthazar, the god of war and fire, right? Those are human attributions that we've given. You've never. Maybe we have had Balthazar. I don't know the lore deeply enough to know.
It's not just human. Also, the Norn call them by their aspects, not by the names or the human gods. They just say they are representations of war, of light, etc.
But you don't know how much of that is born from cultural influences and like word of mouth on Tyrion's side rather than what the gods truly actually are. I don't deny that war is an appropriate facet of Balthazar, but whether he needs it to exist. And the other thing is like the other thing is war and fire. And like in the case of Lyssa, we've seen that she became of water. She swapped that around. You know, these aren't immovable aspects of them. Like if Balthazar doesn't have war anymore, that doesn't mean Balthazar isn't Balthazar necessarily. Like he doesn't need that just as much as Cormyr didn't need water and happily gave it up to Lyssa at some point.
You're in trouble, Boots, as well, because
maybe
wasn't Balthazar going to destroy the entire Tyria, and then he said your home is of trivial concern?
Yeah.
How do you solve that? How do you solve that? How is there war if everyone's dead?
That's fine.
Well,
go
to
another land and kill all them.
To be fair, though, right now he says something to the effect of "there's no honor in war" or whatever. So whatever has happened to him to make him a fallen god, he doesn't care about war. He doesn't believe hard fast anymore. His opinions on war, that there was honor in the battle, right?
Yeah.
The gods are a bit salty. They're a little bit salty, so they're just caring about surviving right now.
Well, that's probably why he's sucking power from the Bloodstone and the dragons instead of getting people to praise.
It's a major source of power, and he needs it in order to get his groove back, so to speak.
Well, yeah, but people were suggesting it's revenge, right?
Revenge,
essentially, that he's looking to
destroy
get
the dragons,
back,
just to get back at them. Yeah, that's kind of the angle I was assuming he was going up for. He just wanted to take them down, because when they said they abated me, I kind of thought they were talking. he was talking about the dragons.
Dragons? I don't think so.
Oh, I didn't get that.
The only thing about
I'm open to it though.
The only thing, it's definitely a possibility. The only thing about the dragons is the gods left before the dragons woke up. So, do they just consume their power through the eternal alchemy? I don't think that's really how it works.
I think the gods are like, if you've ever played Magic, they're basically planeswalkers. I think gods are basically planeswalkers, and they go around doing whatever they want. They probably really like magic and try to rule worlds that have a lot of magic. And I think they came to Tyria, what was it, like 2,000 years ago, basically, near the height of the time that there was magic in Tyria, because it's around 8,000 years after the first time the Elder Dragons got put back to sleep. So 8,000 years out of 10,000 of the energy seeping back into Tyria, they probably came here to gather up some magic themselves and have fun there. And they left because they saw that the dragons were about to wake up again.
I mean, there is the humans perceive the gods as leaving an exodus. Someone has suggested that it could be that the gods have been here the entire time, just hidden. But that then goes into the area that everybody has a mirror from Lyssa, and I'm not willing to buy that. It's more Taimi nonsense.
Well, I mean, why not though? I mean, they are gods. It's not exactly owning a mirror is not exactly a challenge, Jinx. Do you own a mirror?
I own a mirror.
No, no mirrors.
Booth has got a mirror.
Yeah.
Wait, did you just say you don't have any mirrors?
I'm done.
No, seriously, did you just say you don't own any mirrors?
I did, yeah.
Really? Is that true? That's crazy.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Jesus.
Okay, so that's a good question though. Like, did Lyssa give Balthazar the mirror, or did he take it?
Oh, I think he took it. Have you heard the theory that, so here's a big question of like, why is he impersonating Lazarus? Why the deceit? Why any of it? And the idea is potentially because Lyssa is also around on Tyria at the moment. She's got yeah. So this is people like trying to shoehorn that theory together, which is interesting. It does explain some of the motivations, and then that would put those two against each other, and he would have to steal the mirror from her.
Or they're working together. They're all in on it. All the gods are in on it.
I think I much like the story that he is a fallen god because of either other gods or his brother or something to that effect.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I think that he's got to be a fallen god. He's got to be, and I think he's mad at them as well. I think he's upset at what happened, and he just wants power from. He's against the Elder Dragons right now to take their power and get his comeback against the other gods essentially, or whatever happened. But there's not really too much further you can go to guess at what that might be right now. I think anyway.
I like all those ideas. I really do. I don't know why. I still think that he draws power from war, and I think the reason why he was such a powerful god and very happy about things when he joined up with the crew of six, and took over a bunch of places in Tyria. And then the other gods were like, "Hey, this is not going well for Tyria. Maybe calm down a bit, Balthazar. Let's get out of here." In 250 years of not having a war on Tyria, and then probably finishing the fight with Menzies somehow has him going.
So somebody asks why we are not blind, and at first I had the same question, but you're supposed to learn from Marjorie, which, by the way, the story didn't even prompt me to talk to her. Other people said they got a star. I didn't for whatever reason. But he's underpowered. He's a fallen god. He doesn't have the same power as before, so I guess that would suggest that you won't go blind from looking at him currently because he's weakened.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the
I guess
impression I got.
that's the explanation, I guess, for that.
But
now,
here's the thing. There's a... Sorry, go on, Teapot.
Well, I was going to say he's all mixed up with Lazarus essence as well, so he's a bit messed up as well in that respect. So
yeah, the thing with me
is he?
Is he still mixed up with Lazarus? Was it? Oh, that's a good question.
I think that was just a failed. I think that was just a failed.
What exactly happened?
Seance or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I don't think anything happened.
So
I think he's seen the opportunity. Right. I think.
And he just got in there and just role played, starting RPing as
exactly.
Lazarus.
I think he's seen the opportunity that he needed, and he appeared. Because remember when we kill Zira and she talks about. Gives you the impression that the ritual was complete and that Lazarus had risen. Gives you that impression at the end of the raid wing, right? After you kill Zira.
Mm-hmm.
But he appears much later. He waited for his opportunity to make a grand entrance.
Yeah. Well, so
the only one who could question that, of course, was really Cauticus and whoever Cauticus had steal the aspect or whatever.
Yeah. So there's two things here as well. So first, with the Balthazar thing and why he's not blind, how did you guys feel? Like, I get it, right? That's why we're not blind. Here's one of my biggest disappointments with the whole thing, and I don't know what would have made me happy, but I sort of just don't like the way that Balthazar looks. See, there was a thing in GW1, right, where, and the beauty, I read this really infuriating comment on Reddit, right, where someone was basically like, oh, why are we not blind? And someone says, oh, well, you can look at the gods just for little periods of time, and you can see what they look like. That's how Malkor made the statues. And that like really infuriates me that you'd use Malkor as an example there, because the beauty, the romance, the amazing thing about Malkor's story is that you would go blind. You couldn't do much more than snatch a tiny little look. There was no accurate way to see what these gods look like. And so in Guild Wars 1, you had this big thing, like as a part of the world building, the people in Cantha had very different depictions of the six gods to the people in Elona, to the people in Tyria, to potentially anywhere else. Like if we'd gone to Utopia or whatever, it was like this veil that was in front of them. They were that mysterious. They were that interesting. Like what we thought the gods looked like was totally warped by the cultures of the people that were representing them, and there was no unified idea. And so then in this patch, to have Balthazar drop in, and he literally just looks like the avatar of Balthazar or whatever.
Maybe he is just
there's something I hate about that. I really hate that Balthazar looks the way that he does, and I don't know what they could have done better. Did anyone feel that?
Maybe the player character sees what they're expecting to see. They could play it off like that, right?
It's in the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah, so I mean, suppose... Yeah. But then again, I guess you have characters of a different cultural descent as well. You can play, especially in the human storyline, right? You can... Yeah. You can pick, you can say, yes, I was from... I'm of Elonian descent. I'm from Ascalon actually, stuff like that. So maybe you could go with that, but
maybe he is just an avatar of Balthazar, though.
Yeah, maybe. Right. Is it an avatar? Good question.
Maybe he's a dervish from Elona who came up here and just went avatar.
He's just getting in there. He's just getting in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so someone's just said in chat, Balthazar looks like what he does in the Ascalonian murals. But that's what's bad about it, because the Ascalonian murals were supposed to be like not a real representation. You couldn't know, and so yeah, I don't know what if he'd looked like a little bug on the floor or something. I think I would have preferred it more, just because it would have been more consistent with. Like, I think that would have been cooler in a lot of ways if he was just like this.
Imagine if he was
Looney Tunes, that would actually be really good.
Imagine if he was the actual race of your player character. Did look different as he looked like your race every way you looked at him. Like you were Sur, he was one of the Sur Balthazar, and that would be bad.
But still better than what we got, and I don't know. That was kind of something that really upset
me. So you'd like to see a totally fresh look on him then, a totally different.
Yeah, like any depiction. Keep a bit of the fiery theme in there, sure, but I don't want to see the guy looks like a Norn. That's literally it. He just looks like a Norn in fiery outfit, right? And that's it basically. But anyway, so the other cool thing to think about then, like we were just talking about Lazarus, right? And is Lazarus in Balthazar and what actually happened to that ritual? So a lot of people lament this story, that essentially what this story has done. I don't think this story is the end of Jormag and Prime Orders by any respect, but I do think this story is the end of the Massat and the White Mantle ties. I think that it is we're moving away from Massat and White Mantle. So if you are in that corner, are you guys upset that now the Massat haven't been in Guild Wars 2? They're still not here. If what you loved was the idea of a friendly Massat, there's the door because you didn't get it. Does that upset you guys? What do you think about that?
No.
You don't need a real Massat to be in the story?
No, they all.
Yeah, all that hype early on was fake now?
I'm a little sad about it, to be quite honest, because I wanted more Massat history and lore and all that kind of stuff. And now we're not going to get that. I mean, Lazarus wasn't real to begin with, apparently, so we never got that technically. There is something to be said about.
We did get a bit on the Fire Island chain before, and they could have done it again on the Fire Island chain here, but they didn't. So there, they missed a trick.
But there is the possibility. So the Eye of Janthier in Wing 4 disappears. So there is the possibility that they can continue to address some of that lore, or at least what the Eye of Janthier is all about, like in a later raid instance. Like that's a story thread I suppose they could continue in that content.
What do you think about the Horcruxes as well? Do you think that they'll do that? Well, people, would you be mad to see that? Would you be like, all right, get over it? Or do you want to see the actual ritual now happen with the actual 5 Horcruxes?
I'm okay
I would love to see that, but how would that really fit into the story? I feel like, unfortunately, with the way the story has now developed, like that time has passed to revisit.
No, it hasn't. All you have to do is have Taimi go in and say, "Oh, I said to fight Balthazar. We need a Massat to fight Balthazar," and then we go and we do the ritual. Done.
Boom, easy.
Bring him back for real this time. Need some spectral agony. Well,
you can do anything when you have Taimi.
We just got to go into downstate, man. We got spectral agony on downstate now.
Oh, that's true.
We can take him down. You know.
Do you think that the legendary Torch Flames of War is a representation of how Balthazar was summoned this time around?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know whether they went that far with it.
What do you mean summoned? He wasn't.
Well, when they summoned Lazarus,
but it was actually Balthazar instead.
This is a weird thing to think about behind the scenes as well, right? Ages back, they pointed out that they had like the visual designs for most of the legendaries and blah 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 done. Do you think that at that point, way back when, they had the idea for the Flames of War in place as well, the art? Because they said that like the Gen 2 legendaries were basically done art-wise. It was just the collections and stuff that held them back. So if the Flames of War, like a year and a half, was already supposed to be the Balthazar themed thing, that would mean they knew Balthazar ages back, which would make it even worse that they didn't breadcrumb it better. You guys think they did that, or they just pulled that out?
They must have known Balthazar ages back because, people were talking about it in your chat, right? So
yeah, but even that was post episode 2. That wasn't too long ago.
Oh, okay.
I mean, ArenaNet has said before that they have story mapped out quite in advance, at least rough ideas of where the story is going and what they want to happen. So I think the concept art for the Balthazar torch has been done for some time. Obviously, it would have been iterated on several times, but yeah, I think they had a very rough idea before the season even started, or about the start of the season, that was already going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and to a certain extent, it's fine to have a themed legendary as well, right? And War, that's kind of Balthazar's thing anyway. And so you might as well just integrate that right in there. And you've got the kind of weird little acolyte guys at the edges, makes it a little bit creepy on the big candlestick you smash people with. I don't think.
Just as an aside, do you guys like that legendary? Because I see a lot of people complain about it.
Well, I'm a little bit biased because I really like Rodgor, but I actually kind of like it. I actually think it's pretty good. But
I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out to be, but I would make Rodgort over it.
Yeah, Rodgort's really good though. Rodgort's really cool. Yeah. So can you really criticize it for?
So, but yeah, it's true actually. The Flames of War, it's got some flames on it, but it's mostly like purple stuff. A lot, very, very bloodstony. No.
Yeah, it's a little bit darker. It's a little bit evil.
That's just the frosting boots.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean they couldn't just have it just like they want to give it a different glow. They want to give it a different look, make it legendary torch. Want to give it something a little bit special.
I think there is something slightly sad about the torch in that people think it's a joke weapon.
I don't think it's a joke weapon. I think that's ridiculously harsh. Actually.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever intended to be considered a joke weapon.
Did you guys think that the rifle was a joke weapon?
It feels like it might have been.
That straddled the line, right?
I think it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty silly in my opinion. But
if they didn't want to go for a joke weapon, they could have gone for something completely different. Like, it's pretty close to a joke weapon that it might as well just be a joke weapon.
No, I don't know. Some people really like the rifle. Some people really like
I look forward to the joke greatsword next patch. You heard it here first, folks.
You know the silly sword? The one that flops around? It's just going to be that, but bigger.
Big one of those.
It's going to be a really big one.
I love the silly scimitar as well. That thing's awesome. I'd love a huge one of those.
I think that we're going to continue to see the lesser weapons released before we get to some of the mainstays that people seem to be excited for.
I reckon they'll do greatsword for the finale because it's the finale. I reckon they'll do it that way.
You think so? I think greatsword is going to be one of the last ones they do. Just because we have 3 already.
Nah, but they can't cash in on expansion hype after that. I don't think. Oh, maybe they can. I don't know.
They can.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think you're right, the Wings, because if there's already 3 already, it seems a little bit much to put another one in as a priority.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
right. I think it's going to be Focus or Dagger maybe would be pretty exciting for a lot of people. Hammer, I don't know.
Sword, yeah.
I think they'll definitely go for Focus because that Focus is considered to be one of the silliest ones, right? Even though I like the minstrel, Right,
it's a rooster.
But some people really dislike it. They think it's kind of ridiculous. So I can definitely see another Focus getting in here for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people run Foci as well, and you could do. There's so much freedom visually with one of those. You could do anything. I'd love to see like a really edgy Focus, whatever that would be. Yeah, like an edgelord Focus, like a.
So a bit Guild Wars 1 theme then. They're quite edgy focuses and foci, if you will.
I would die for a legendary chakram. That would be so cool. Anyway,
so you don't want the Focus to be a severed clown head?
I would.
Dude, that's as edgy as it
love
gets.
It to be a severed clown head. That would be ideal for my purposes.
That shoots rainbows out of its mouth.
And it makes like a little honky noise, like when they squeeze the nose, like when you take full damage or something.
Are there clowns in Tyrian lore?
Clowns?
Are there clowns?
There's circuses.
There's a carnival. I don't know.
There's that dude that plays as Ronald McDonald running around.
Oh, that's scary. Yeah. That's just horrifying. That's scary as hell, man.
Giving out burgers and fries to everybody.
I like it.
I'm pretty sure there were clowns and things in Vabby. They had all that stuff to do with theater and entertainment.
Right, yeah.
I would be surprised if they didn't.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Vabby...
Probably the more classical sense of a clown and not the, I don't know,
Risen Jester. Risen Jester, thank you very much, Emily. That's true. There was Jesters.
Risen Jesters from Ore, yeah, nice.
Yeah. Okay, but that brings us to, someone said something about Alona.
Oh.
So here's the segue right there.
Here's the segue for the giveaway.
Remember refresh as well, guys, if you want low delay to win.
So we got this nice Ridlock t-shirt. Beautiful. This is a medium, so totally wearable. So the question for this one, remember to add Bootspur, is how did, after he got put down and he came back up, how did Palawajoko conquer Alona the second time around? Like, what was the thing he did that really made it work?
Okay. Let's see how long it's going to be.
I think, by the way, he did that the first time as well.
I don't think he did.
I think there was something about him doing that.
Neok got it.
Neok is a cheeky lorehound. This guy knows what's up, okay?
Yeah, he diverted the Elon River. Congratulations, Neok.
Oh, wait, wait. Neok, are you NA? Because you have to be... You're only shipping to NA, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be... It's got to be NA.
Well,
sorry,
if
guys.
it's not Neok, then it's the second one.
It's bad, man.
Neok. Yeah. Oh, he is EU. Oh,
bad.
Goodness, feels bad, man.
Oh boy. Okay, hold on.
The next one on the list.
Yeah. Teapot will send you a signed poster of himself.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a screenshot of the frame right now and just send that to you. Sign it. Sign this tea time. Send it right over.
Nukes. A lot of people said nukes.
But wait, Boots, hang on a minute. Cheesington is EU as well for the first giveaway, mate.
Oh, come on!
You didn't say it was NA only, did you?
I did. Right before
and you...
I even said it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Okay, maybe you did.
Yeah. Terrible.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble now.
Well, you're gonna have to get some more.
You
some
can
more
watch the
questions.
VOD. You can watch the VOD and see who was second on the Cheesington one.
Well, on the Cheesington, yeah, I'll do that. But the first, so I think Hangdoll said reroute of the river. I think that's good enough as the second person.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay, so Hangdoll would be the winner if you are not in EU, if you're in NA. Hangdoll?
It's just going to be an endless train of EU people now. I'm EU as well. I'm EU.
I mean, how do you expect NA to keep up with EU, man? At the end of the day,
I know, right?
EU is just top tier, okay? It's as simple as that.
Hey, Hangdoll's NA, okay.
All right, there we go. Good job. We did it!
Go team.
Okay, I'll add the friend and then work it out later.
Okay.
Okay.
Where do you want to re-segue us, Boots? You've derailed everything.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I also have to think of two more trivia questions now, unfortunately. But what? All right, so I think this episode, what it really did was ingrain the fact into us that the gods are not Tyria's gods. The gods are foreign beings, right?
They never.
Well, they're not attached to Tyria. Well, at least not anymore. Maybe they were a little bit attached at some point, but now he doesn't care.
They don't care.
It's a trivial concern. Tyria is a trivial concern.
Screw your world, I don't give a shit. And like on the island too, you got Nettleblaze going, oh yeah, that god being, yeah, he's here too. Whatever, he's just a god being. And
whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
No big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Gods, come on, get rid of them.
They're around here every once in a while. We deal with them, I guess. So the world of Tyria. Who are the real gods of Tyria?
Does there have to be?
Well, yeah.
Dragons.
Are the dragons?
The question is that. Why does Tyria need gods? I don't get. Why do we need deities?
Like a number of the races don't even believe in that theology, really, right? They don't believe in the existence of gods. The Asura don't, for sure. They believe in eternal alchemy.
Mm-hmm. Are the druids avatars of Melandru? Gilbor says the druids are the avatars of Melandru, the ones on the island.
Okay, but that's like more visual reuse. Maybe there's something more that's going on in the lore, but I don't think they've ever really suggested too much.
Could be a different type of...
Well, it's just that in GW1 they didn't have much to draw from. So they did the avatar of Melandru as the Oak Heart model. And then when the druids were in the jungle, they were also the Oak Heart model. They were all spiritual. I can't remember any direct place where they've drawn a comparison between the two and suggested that the two are the same. I can't remember. But I think the druids were humans that worship Melandru, maybe, that went to the jungle and then disappeared eventually and became, shed their mortal bodies.
Yeah, there is context in several places in the new map where they talk about the druids ascending to their plant form, so to speak.
Yeah, but whether they were purely Melandru lovers before they did that, I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe they're calling out Balthazar for being kind of disrespecting him a bit for being a fallen god. Again,
well, they don't really like anybody.
Peasant.
They don't really like anybody on their island in their
That's
garden.
That's true. Yeah, leave it alone. It's pure.
People
can't stay off the grass.
Yeah, they're trampling it in. They're making stuff. The Azura are making their little camp.
Well, I guess we should talk about the new map then. What do you guys think?
Sure. Yeah.
I think
I like the Lagos.
I actually really like it. I think the new map is really good. I mean, it's big as well, so it really shows that ArenaNet can get the work done. And again, this is something that ArenaNet never failed to do and never failed to execute really well. The map craft is absolutely fantastic. I love it.
Environment design,
The environment is absolutely fantastic, unbelievably good.
Really liked it.
And you know what? It's even got the meme in it because it actually has 3 biomes. I'm just gonna say it, Inks. I know you love 3 biomes. It's got 3 biomes.
Well, they finally delivered on the 3 biome promise. It just took them, a while.
Do you think they were knowingly doing that because the word biome comes up more in this patch than any of the other ones? Do you think they were knowingly calling back to like HOT when they were doing that?
I'd like to think they were. Come on, you know me. I like to think that everyone is a secret memester, and I hope that ArenaNet is like secretly pranking everyone with these biomes.
Yeah, they are. You've seen medium legendary armor, right? So They're clearly
That reaction just says it all.
They're clearly memesters.
Just silence and then a scoff.
Right. Well, we could talk about legendary. Well, we can talk about legendary armor now because if we want to, well, we can do the new map. We can do a bit of a combo, but or we can do it later. But honestly, I think the only thing that I don't like about the medium armor is the trench coat. Like other than that, I actually think the other pieces are really good.
I've been calling it a trench coat.
Do a little mini segue.
I've been calling it a trench coat for a while, but really it's like a ballroom gown, more so than even a trench coat.
That's because of the way the cloth physics works in the game. It always looks a little bit weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think my opinion has been hidden too well. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the medium armor. It's not just the looks, right? You know, lots of people will say, I don't like how it looks. I don't like the trench coat, the ballroom gown, whatever. It's not even just about the ballroom. The fact that they talk about a unique silhouette and then go for a very generalized, overused type of armor in that class. Same with light.
So I wanted to ask you this: how do you feel then about the idea that the medium was just supposed to like tip? It's supposed to be the legendary version, but it's going to typify. It's the poster child example. It's the best version of medium armor, and in being that, it encompasses what is medium armor, which is trench coats. Do you get what I mean? Because there's so many trench coats, the legendary medium armor has to be a trench coat. It's
the ultimate trench coat.
Right, like
the
exactly that.
Trench coat.
Do you think that's what they were going for?
I had somebody leave a comment to me saying that that's exactly what ArenaNet was trying to do here with all of the armors, not just medium. They were using what the generalized version of those armors are. So for light armor, many of the sets have the butt cape. Right, the butt cape is something that light wearers generally have to deal with. Trench coat for medium, and plate for heavy. Not nipple plate, but literally plate armor. So, and I think they went with that generalized view, and that might be okay if they didn't go on about this unique silhouette. And I feel like if you were ever going to break the mold, break that generalization of armor, legendary armor was the place to do that, and they decided not to.
Do you think that's inherently more risky when they do that, though? Obviously, right? Like the more wild of a design you go for, it's gonna become more like Marmite, right? Like some people will really love what you've done, but a lot of people will be put off. So,
and I think that's exactly why they didn't take that risk.
Yeah, I mean the best possible thing they could have done was possibly make a set of legendary armor for each class to make it theme-wise, but it's impossible to do that. It's impossible.
That would take them a little bit longer than you know. That's just a few expansions worth of content right there.
So here's the other thing, right? As well, like with the butt cape thing, people really talk about this a lot. How do you guys feel like? What if legendary armor had been presented to us, maybe released slightly different, with a slightly different perspective, right? It's essentially the same stuff, but rather than encouraging the audience, the community to think of legendary armor as all six is the one thing to judge. What if we were more in a mindset where we judge each piece of legendary armor on its own individual merits? Okay, we don't like the butt cape, but that's okay because I can mix and match in something that's non-legendary for the leg piece. And then I'm okay. Do you get what I mean? Like, do you think that's acceptable?
I agree that that's a good way to go about it, because at the end of the day, pretty much all the pieces, you know, there's a few pieces that I dislike, but actually, I like the entire heavy set. The heavy set is really good. I like the light set, except for the butt cape. What the fuck? Okay.
The lobster tail.
It's literally the worst butt cape in the game. It's the worst butt cape in the game, guys. Come on. And then the medium. I think I like pretty much all of it. Yeah, I like all of it except the trench coat again, because
I don't like the hat.
And even the trench coat. I have a confession to make. On some races, so racism, guys. I actually do kind of like the heavy, actually. No, the medium. All of the medium. I think the trench coat actually looks good on some races.
Yeah, what races?
I think it's pretty good. I actually don't mind it on Sylvari. It's Sylvari male on Sylvari female. It's kind of weird. On Char, it's pretty good. On Norn, it's pretty well, except for the clipping meme, but that's kind of funny.
And they're fixing.
Anyway, I just don't like it on human, really.
Well, maybe.
I don't really like it on human. That kind of pisses me off. It irritates me quite a lot on human, actually. But
maybe it's just the human.
I think it's pretty good. It's mostly just
I don't like the hat.
Yeah, I don't like the hat either.
It's all shiny. It's good. It's good.
It's shiny, but it looks weird. I think the shape of it's weird. It's
the medium armor suffers in another way as well. It suffers in a couple of ways. Number one, they didn't, and I know they're going to fix the char tail thing, but they didn't even design around the tail. Like a lot of the char armor nowadays, they try and design around the tail, cut a little hole for it or whatever the case is. They just ignored that and went and foregoed that entire thing. The medium armor, all of the legendary armors, but in medium I think it matters the most, is too shiny. There's too much gloss on the armor itself. It's supposed to be a medium leathery kind of armor, and it's shiny. It's like it's very weird. I don't know.
Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
Well, so like back on the idea of like viewing them as individual pieces, like I couldn't help but notice the devs didn't give us like a set bonus where the animations only play if you're wearing all 6 pieces. You know, that big like flourishing animation when you first open, that's just attached to the chest, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So with all the butt cape hate, if we think about it that way, are you guys like a lot more okay with it basically? And just like, because I've noticed as well with my insights and the provisioners tokens, I'm now working on my second set. And I'm getting them as individual pieces now. Yeah. And so now I find I'm like judging, instead of light, which I judged all as one, like for heavy, I'm like, oh yeah, the chest looks good. But, you know,
unfortunately, the medium armor chest plate is the trench coat.
The trench coat.
Right.
So you can't get the dragon.
Oh, is it? That's bad.
The medium unsheath wing effect is unbelievably good. It looks awesome. You got these big red dragon wings kind of unfurling, and it's attached to the trench coat.
Oh, that's like, are there any legs in the game that are the trench coat? Because then could you wear those legs and could you double trench coat basically with the right?
No, you're thinking of butt capes.
The chest would overwrite it anyway. It doesn't.
Oh yeah, like in Flame Legion, the COF armor does that. Yeah.
I don't know. People will try and piece it out. I wish them the best of luck because it's going to be a little bit difficult. The armor is really meant to be worn as a complete set, I think. Some pieces you'll be able to swap out without noticing it too much, but I don't know. I guess I look forward to seeing what people can come up with as far as piecemeal armor and how good it actually looks.
The other big thing then on this whole discussion is the Reddit AMA, the bombshell, I think anyway, that they have no plans to make another set of legendary armor. How do people feel about that? If you don't like the butt cape, screw you.
Disappointed.
You got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what disappoints me about that entire thing was when I made my first legendary video, I talked about how, you know, people should really sort of recognize a little bit that it feels like, and it sounds like from what ArenaNet had said, that a lot of the work that went into legendary armor was the back-end engine work to get animations to work at all. Like without that back-end engine work, it doesn't work. Like it doesn't exist. And they spent a lot of time doing that and resources. But now you're not going to make any more legendary armor.
Good point.
What is all that work for?
Yeah.
Like hopefully they use it on mounts or they use it somewhere.
Legendary
if mounts are a thing. But like hopefully they use it somewhere else. But I have this fear like they put all that work into the back end to make these animations possible. And now we're not going to get more legendary.
All right, so what if like they're going to do that? People are going to hate this. What if this is just what all outfits have now in the future? They have sheath and unsheath.
But that's not as crazy as it sounds because we have at least 2 outfits that already border on semi-legendary appearance, right? For 700 gems, by the way, that they can crank out much faster than armor pieces. You've got the ice armor, which has a really nice glow about it that's dyeable, by the way. And then you have the Halloween outfit, which when you're standing still has sort of an infusion effect around your feet of the grasping hands.
So maybe they do. Yeah. Maybe we'll get a new. Maybe as of episode 6, we'll see new outfits come in. There'll be a new tier of outfit. They're going to cost twice as many gems, and they have all the legendary stuff.
And right. Twitch chat. Hear me out here. Guys, boy. The only thing that separates legendary armor from really expensive outfits is insights. Just kind of bear that in mind, right? Because the rest of the legendary armor is you just have to gather a bunch of gold and you have to, run around in the world and kill Chat Garrett a bunch of times. Legendary armor is it's a big chunk of gold and 150 insights, right? And you have to do the raid. So the difference between the gem store and legendary armor is just the prestige factor. And yes, the prestige factor is kind of the thing, right? That's pretty good. And you get to swap stats. The swapping stats is really nice as well, but that's the bonus for the prestige, right? So I wouldn't really be upset if they did this sort of thing, right? And it's like with the Zera's mask, right? It's either it's in the gem store or it doesn't exist, according to them, Inks.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Do you not trust them, Inks? Do you not trust them?
Nope.
Oh, I don't think. No, I'm with Teapot here. They wouldn't lie that blatantly about it.
No, obviously not. The thing with the, let's not get into the Zera mask. We talked about that on 50 episodes already.
Okay.
In the gem store.
In the gem store.
So the one thing about legendary armor that I've seen a lot of people upset about is the tail issue, the back pieces issue. I think the fact that
dye issue.
Well, dye issue is not that big of a deal. But anyway, I think the problem, in my opinion, is that the week before legendary armor came out, they had a big blog post about legendary armor coming out. And literally the first paragraph is, we had one clear goal with legendary armor. Our primary goal was no clipping.
No, it wasn't no clipping. It was the minimized clipping.
Blog post says.
Right. Well, but at the end it says that there's going to be clipping regardless of how much they did,
and they take a snippet out of context. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They gave you all these reasons on how they tried to hide clipping. They try and move the position of the weapons, and they try and hide it with effects and whatever.
So apparently there's a thing, have you guys heard of this? There's a thing other MMOs do. I believe FF14 does it. Maybe people in chat can verify that. But there's some other, without changing the tech entirely on how this works, there's going to be clipping basically. But like in FF14, supposedly there's another way where they mold the armor dynamically. The engine molds the armor around the contours of your character and whatever's happening to minimize it. Like people talk about this with horns as well and Asura ears. People hate losing their ears or having them clipped through. In FF14, they actually have in the MMO the ability to, like, the material will wrap around the claws or the horns or the ears or whatever. And people are basically saying now that this is what Guild Wars should have done for legendary armor. Do you guys think that's reasonable? Or because I don't play Fashion Wars 2, I really don't care personally.
Yeah, I think so. And we didn't even bring that up. The fact that the horns clip away is criminal.
Is that bad? Is that?
I mean, there's a lot of engine issues there, though. Let's be real.
Right, and I think that's
a lot of tricky stuff there.
Unfortunately, I think that's what it comes down to. It's a difference of engine issues.
I think it's probably impossible, the way the game is built currently, to not have any clipping on an armor.
Apparently, it all looks like crap anyway in FF14. Thanks, chat.
I don't know. I think that I just don't quite understand. They knew that the chart tail, and that's going to be fixed. The chart tail thing will be fixed, but they knew the chart tail thing would trigger people in medium armor. On heavy armor, they even go so far as to include the tail in the armored animation. They armor the tail.
Do you think, though, and this is something I feel like I'm prying too deeply, but on the blog post, they point out that different people made the different sets. Do you think this is literally that the dudes or dudette that made medium wasn't as in tune with people as the heavy?
I don't know.
You think it's that?
I don't know, because they would have gone through lots of different iterations on design, right? Maybe it's something that got missed at the end or something, and I don't know. But not just about the chart tail, and Asura ears don't quite matter quite as much to me, but some Asura players are pretty upset that their ears just get tucked away or clipped away as well. But the horns are real big ones for me. And I don't even play at Char. The fact that you don't design the armor around the horns, which is one of their larger distinguishing features.
How many horns can you get on Char, though, man? That's a lot. That's pretty brutal. I mean, think of all the different horn configurations.
I know, but that's supposedly that is one of their reasons for why it takes them so long to design armor, right?
But if
you're going to take this much time, you should really give it its due diligence and design around those things. They do it for outfits. They literally cut holes in the helmets for outfits so the horns and ears stick through.
But look at the tail, man. The tail thing is hype. Get distracted.
Yeah, it's great on heavy.
Heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy and light too.
And medium has a bit of a clipping issue with the tail, but they said they're on that, so don't worry about that. But with the light and the heavy, the tail is the most hype thing ever. It looks so good.
And it's lore based too that they don't have that on the medium, because a Char doesn't want to be uncomfortable and have like leather wrapped around its tail. That would just be in the hot summer heat. It's no thanks.
Wow. That's
So, do you think they should have done it for every horn configuration? It should work with every char horn setup. And well, Azura ears would probably not be as bad, right?
Because that is mental. If you say yes to that, that is mental.
That
would be so hard for them to do.
I think that they should have given it a lot more consideration. There are armor sets that already exist for helmets where they take the horns into consideration. And there might be a little bit of clipping on the horns where the horns clip through the helmet or whatever, but generally speaking, there are outfits out there that do a very good job of addressing the horns and ears on Asura and Char.
So you're saying the proof's in the pudding. They've done it with outfits, at least hit that bar on the legendary armor. I think that's reasonable.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Frankly, I'm okay with the legendary armor altogether.
Yeah, I quite like it. Have you guys got a lot of runes in your inventories?
Yeah. Not runes. I just destroy them.
No,
I swap runes all the time. I don't have them in my inventory. I just buy new ones and swap them all the time. I've spent
for some bad builds.
I spent most of my money on changing up my armor all the time. If I had legendary armor, I would be a very happy camper. But I'm not going to get any time soon because I have only 30 legendary insights. So that's going to be.
Gotta get on that.
Yeah.
I've just been lazy about it. I literally just need to go do Karn and stand in the green circles, and then I'm done.
Yeah, I thought I had that, and I didn't in the end. The other big thing about legendary armor we haven't talked about, and I don't know how many are in chat. What do you guys think about the whole? I mean, this has churned it up. It's an old-ass discussion, but what do you think about the fact that, like, World versus Worlders would love to be able to swap and stat swap, but they don't want to go for the insights? Like, we should touch on it a little bit, no?
I would like to see another way to get it, but not a new set.
It's a huge discussion. I think and I brought this up in a couple places, but Twitter being one of them, which is the worst place to start a discussion, by the way. Just because of limited characters, right? You can't truly express yourself on Twitter very, very well. But I think the challenge or the concern that I would have with bringing legendary armor to something like World vs. World, which, by the way, I do believe they should, is that how do you introduce it exactly? Like, are you just going to ignore parity between acquisition? And just say, because if World vs. World is easier to obtain than raids, then that sort of diminishes that reward for raiding, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it has to be tied to some sort of competitive event. I think it has to be tied to seasons in some way. I think it could only be for the best of the best, just like legendary armor and PvE is for the best of the best.
And then I think you have to ask yourself, too, how much ArenaNet sort of has to ask themselves, how much do they care about people trading wins so that everybody can get their legendary armor rather than a true competitive environment where you're fighting over a very limited amount of people who are going to get it at the end of said event or tournament.
Yeah. Well, so would people really win trade though? Would people really win trade? Does that happen 100%. A lot? Does that happen?
Yes, it does.
No, I think they can do it. I think for PvP at least, like they've already had tournaments where they gave legendaries away at the end to people who won. Yeah. That they even had the Glorious Heroes armor set or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah,
they could do that again. I really can see that. I can see them hosting a PvP tournament that has legendary armor.
Would you just tie it to season placement? So the higher rank you are, the more insights you get, or something? Because at the end of the day, like the source you need is you need to get the precursor armor as well, though. So how would you? You could get the
That's
insights.
The thing, right? Because the pre-armor is the collection. So, I saw someone say, let World versus Worlders earn insights, but they still have to raid to do the collections.
Just do the raid once, then, basically. Like, do everything exactly once. But you have to do Gorseful 5 times. So there's a bit of a time gate there.
Yeah. They're called legendary insights, so they're not called raiding insights.
That would take out most of the grind, though. The perceived grind. That would take out a big chunk of time gate. Because, that's 12 weeks of raiding for 150 insights, right? Mm-hmm. So if you could just need to do it once, like do everything once, I don't think that would be that unreasonable. But then again, I don't know. Like they don't want to do it.
There's like this philosophy as well, like what should legendaries be? Because they seem to be at a bit of a crisis in Heart of Thorns, in my opinion, where it's like, should a legendary be something that makes you play everything, which seemed to have been the philosophy at the start, World versus World PvP and PvE, or is a legendary something that someone should get from a dedicated game type? Like the Fractals backpack is only there, the PvP backpack was only there, and now legendary armor is only in raids. Like, should they not go back to the philosophy where legendary armor is for doing a ton of everything, being a master of Guild Wars 2 in general, not just pigeonholing yourself into raids or World versus World or whatever. And so like that's a whole other side of it.
I mean, it's possible if they do introduce it into World versus World and introduce it into PvP in some way, and you get legendary insights from those things instead of just straight up legendary armor for doing something spectacular in those things. It's possible that you do have, like, the fastest way to get legendary armor in that case would be to spread yourself around different game types, because you would, instead of spending 3 months straight playing raids, you could do everything in a month maybe.
Because you're saying you'd go over the cap kind of thing, right? Like you'd be weekly capped for more insights from raiding. So then you shift yourself over to World versus World for a bit and then PvP. I don't know. It's interesting. And I think that's the biggest debate beyond everything else, beyond the trench coats, beyond everything for heavy armor. People are not settled on the raid thing. They're not.
Right. Yeah. They don't want to raid.
For instance,
they don't want to
MK.
raid.
But MK Hidden says if they do give legendary armor in some way outside of raids, he would rage.
I think there would be rage, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't do it though. Because I don't know, personally I wouldn't really mind. I think some people would be salty, but I mean, why would you be salty? You know, I mean, the prestige for getting 150 insides, motherfucker, you could be doing 150 escort events, man. That ain't prestige. You know,
people will make the argument too that you can just buy from Yummy, and so you're not really doing the work anyway.
Don't even do anything.
You know, it's one of these things. Look, by the time they implement it, let's be honest. By the time they would implement this into any other game mode, you will already have been your special snowflake for a very long time, only getting your legendary armor through raiding. So you'll have that moment in the sun. You know, you'll have your moment in LA or wherever you are where someone says, "Oh, that armor is cool. Where the hell did you get it?" You're going to have that snowflake moment. Right, absolutely.
I had that moment where I saw this guy called MMO Inks who was streaming, and there was a VOD where he saw me in my guild hall, and he was like, "Oh, he's got legendary armor." And that made me feel really good. Yeah.
Yep.
So if World versus World is getting later, it doesn't matter, because I had that moment with Inks.
Fractal Goers had that moment for a while.
And don't get me wrong, I used to feel that way. I used to feel the way that people are like, "No, it's unacceptable. I had to do raiding. You have to do raiding." I had that moment, but it's silly. It's not really. You're gonna have your moment in the sun, and I don't think it's as big a deal as some people will make it out to be.
Yeah. So there was two other things in the AMA. So in the AMA, they mentioned briefly. They mentioned PvP and World versus World. In PvP, they said they're considering doing stuff, automated tournaments. They're seeing what they could do with automated tournaments, trying to draw off of that and maybe do something with that. So that's good, right? Are we all agreed that that's probably a good thing for the game, automated tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is where they're. I mean, we've suggested that's where they're going to head now anyway.
Yeah, and at the same time, Jebro,
I really hope the community will take it. And I was just about to say that, Boots.
Yeah,
we're of the same mind. No, you go ahead, man. You know, tell us about Jebros.
Well, I was just about to say that. Yeah, Jebro has something. Unity Gaming, I think it's called.
Yeah, Unity.
And yeah, so he's organizing monthly tournaments, not automated tournaments, actual tournaments where you are able to win that cash.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's crowdfunded.
Crowdfunded on Matcherino, partnered with Matcherino, and you can win fat stacks. Yeah, sure, go ahead, Joe. You post the Reddit post, whatever you want to post, man.
Yeah. So that'd be really interesting to see too. I want to see how that goes.
Yeah, I really hope the community takes it up. That would be pretty hype. I think it would be
a nice mix of in and out of community. It would be nice if ArenaNet also sponsored outside of automated tournament stuff. But we'll just have to see how that goes.
I feel like a kind of funny thing happened with PvP recently, just looking from the outside almost, community-wise, where like for years, everyone just bagged on PvP, like LOL esports, oh, this is, you know, stop trying, stop putting effort in, blah, blah, blah. You know, all the PvEers and World versus World is basically just bagging on it constantly. Now, you know, on Reddit, it would never get upvoted very highly. There'd always be people casting it. No, but I think it's I think basically what happened is earlier in this year when ESL like dropped out and just it feels like, oh dear, PvP actually just died. And I feel like from that point now the community's like,
wait a minute.
Yeah, I think at that point everyone, now that that's happened, it's like, oh, okay, maybe I'll stop bagging on it now. And now it seems like people are giving it a slightly better chance now. It's like
it's very It's very analogous to, I would say, the American election. It's people memed PvP into the ground.
Wait a minute.
People memed PvP into the ground and memed somebody into the presidential office, and now everybody's regretting it.
Are you enjoying your Trump care boots? You enjoying that? Is that good?
There's no such thing.
Oh, there's going to be.
But the other thing that they talked about in the MAA was World versus World. Very, very briefly, they said the thing they're prioritizing in World versus World, they're working on getting right now is rewards, right? Isn't that what they said? They said the thing they're really working on right now for World versus World is the reward structure.
Yeah.
And
it's about one of the most generic things they could say. I seriously, I could imagine being so mad if I cared about World versus World.
Yeah. There was Salt. There was Salt.
Yeah.
Every AMA is the same. It's hilarious. This is the 5th one, and every AMA is the same. There's not much that they say about World versus World, and World versus Worlders get upset. And I'm not. That's not me judging World versus Worlders. It's just crazy to see 5 times in a row.
I feel bad. I feel bad for World versus World players. They've been waiting a long time for updates, for rewards, for a lot of things to change. And don't get me wrong, some things have changed over this past year or so, or since Heart of Thorns, but not a lot. Change is very slow in World vs. World, and sometimes not even in a meaningful way.
Yeah. The thing is, they did get a lot of changes with Heart of Thorns. They just didn't like them. They didn't like the
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
I think rewards are something that need to be made better in World vs. World for sure, but I don't know if that's the priority right now for World vs. World. Like, based on our discussion that we had with Roy the other week, what I got out of it was that rewards would be nice, better rewards would be nice, but it's not the important thing right now in World vs. World.
It's not as important because by now the hardcore World vs. World players have their Ascended armor and have their stuff. So adding Ascended armor to World vs. World, most of them will probably have had it. I still think, though, and this is what I had said to Roy, was that those rewards are important for new players who are joining World vs. World and who are drawn into that game mode. If you want to draw them into that game mode, those rewards are important for those players, even if the veterans already have Ascended armor.
It's really funny, right? Because I hear so much contradictory stuff about World vs. World, right? Like, because it was just like when Flashpoint came out, I saw not one person, but multiple people express the idea that actually World vs. World is pretty good for Ascended stuff at the moment, because when you do the reward tracks for the new maps, you get stat selectable Ascended trinkets, and quite often you get the currencies from those reward tracks faster than you do from the actual maps themselves, from PvEers. And I've seen multiple people say, actually, yeah, it's pretty good because I can stat select whatever I want from the new maps. And then yet you've got all these other people who are still basically saying no rewards are. It's like so hard to find what is the actual answer, right? Without playing it for thousands of hours yourself.
Yeah, there's definitely that aspect. You can get the trinkets, but that's there's not that people want the monetary reward, and they also want the armor itself. They want the armor and the weapons because that's the expensive. Like a full set of Ascended armor is 500, 600 gold right now, maybe more. I don't know. Someone check that for me on efficiency. And the trouble is that the trinkets are pretty easy to obtain anyway, right? You can, even laurels, just log in every day and you can get some trinkets pretty easily. Berry farm, very efficient way to get that stuff. So I think for sure the Bloodstone Fen, that's one of the faster ones, slower ones, right? That's one of the more annoying ones where the reward tracks can help you out there. But I think the issue here is just it's unbelievably inconsistent to get any kind of Ascended armor or weapons. I mean, you get the odd chest. I've actually got a surprising amount, but other people have got nothing in thousands of, in hundreds of hours of World versus World. And that's
it's expensive to play as well, right? It's not just you don't get much money; it's that it costs money to build Siege and to trigger stuff, right? Like that's an extra tax you get.
So, but that's the question, though. If they're going to use the rewards as a reason to get new players into World versus World, and they've analyzed that the problem is there's not enough players in World versus World, and the way to change that is make the rewards better, and that's their priority now. Then what does that mean down the line? Because as soon as you get a bunch of people recognizing that World versus World is the best rewards, that's why people go there now, then then people are going to be like, what's the point of doing any other
Yeah, like there is
Voting.
danger there. I honestly think you don't want World versus World to be and no one's suggesting this, but you definitely don't want World versus World to be the best farm in the game.
Yeah,
because that creates this horrible situation where when you only have people there for loot, not for the game type, it's
exactly.
bad.
And unfortunately, if rewards are the reason people go into World versus World, that's the only way that people are going to stay in World versus World, is if it is the best farm.
I mean, I think you need to. I think you need to bait them in, but there needs to be a reason for them to stay.
Can they be baited in though? Like, here's the amazing comparison
PvP.
there.
It worked with PvP.
Yeah,
because it was the best of the game.
It didn't work. It didn't work for PvP because they baited people in, and then as soon as the rewards went away, they were like, well, screw it, I'm gone.
For PvP, I mean, they double nerfed the rewards.
It was
which
a brutal
unnecessary.
nerf. And they added that goddamn crafting in, seriously.
And
Jesus.
And they didn't really change the meta, which was fairly stale, right? I don't know. I think people just got easily bored, and it wasn't rewarding.
So is the problem with World versus World the same, that it's just
not completely. I mean, they were working on scoring. I don't know whether they ever even squared that away. Skirmishes seem to be the direction ArenaNet wants to head in the future as far as working on points and rewards.
Really big fan of that, actually, because that's a good way to get a little bit of that competitive spark in there, which is kind of something that should be at the core of the game mode. We discussed this with Roy. It should be you want to beat the other servers. You want to beat them. You want to take them down. You want to start talking. You want to throw siege on the bodies. You want to crush them. And if you add rewards based on how well you do in the skirmish, you can kind of you can maybe get people excited for the game mode. And obviously, you'd have to play with the population there, because there are some servers that are murdering other servers brutally. It's horrific. It's messed up.
And the linking doesn't do enough to really help balance that.
That needs to be addressed if you want to get it into that. If you want to get it into that competitive state where you have people, actively trying to beat each other, you got to try and fix the balance and deal with the population issue. It's possible. It's certainly very difficult without cutting down on the servers, which is again, this is kind of an edgy thing. Do they want to reduce the number of servers, right? Because then people are going to start crying dead game. Like, oh, well, they're closing down the servers. Guild Wars 2's dead, guys. It's over.
Does World versus World need something like server pride to come back to World versus World for it to succeed?
I don't even play it, and I think the answer to that is quite obviously yes. People hate that server pride went away, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a big blow. As much as it's stupid to generalize, all 4 Aspenwood people live in their mum's basements or whatever, as stupid as that is, people love doing it. They love doing it.
It's fun. Talking smack is fun in video games, okay?
It's true, though. I live in my mom's basement, and I'm on 4 Aspenwood.
Okay, perfect segue.
Look, server pride is idiotic.
Oh God!
Why is it idiotic? Why should you not be hyped about winning for your server? It should be a community thing. You get together and beat people down. I don't see why that's a bad thing. I mean, you wouldn't you be proud of your guild? It's something like the next level up from guilds, right?
Just before Boots does this giveaway, I just want to say one of the grimmest things about World vs. World probably at the moment is it sort of feels like with Hearthstones, they got the Borderlands and they got all the guild stuff and stuff. Do you guys actually think they have scope in the next expansion to do anything for World versus World? Or are they just going to keep plodding along with slow polls that are hit or miss and gradual? I think that's the grimmest thing out of all of it.
Yeah.
I
certainly hope so, but I don't know.
Okay. This is my last actually formulated question because one was wasted on Cheesington. Wasted. And the other one got ruined by WoodenPotatoes. Actually, WoodenPotatoes, you have to now come up with another lore question later on in the show.
What to do with this episode?
No, sure, if you'd like. Yeah, okay. A lore question to give away a shirt. So this one is the last one I have right now, but there's going to be 2 more after this. Okay, this is the question. Remember to add Bootspur, only NA. Only people from North America. Who do I think is the leader of the Mesmer Collective?
Wow, that's going to take some deep knowledge right there.
Who does Boots the leader?
Yeah,
this is going to be amazing. There's some real Boots
Lord
fans
Farron's
there.
underwear.
Yeah.
That is quite the
You can guess.
question there.
You can guess.
The answer is E, guys. Just type that in. It's easy. 1 letter.
It has to be the name of the person.
Oh, okay. Then it's not E. Anise.
So we're just watching for someone to strike gold, are we? Now?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Livia.
It's going fast. It's going fast.
Is anyone right?
Queen Jenna. Casimir's brother.
Taimi.
Lazarus. Taimi.
Wait a
Taimi is
second.
always the answer.
Someone, I think got it. Hold on. Someone said Naked Lord Farron.
Oh, wait, what? Really?
gosh.
You actually think that?
I actually think that Farron is the leader of the Mesmer Collective, and also
I think you are all going to be disappointed when Farron just continues to be a poster boy pinup.
Oh, somebody said it a long time ago. Mithran said Lord Farron almost at the top. So,
nice.
Mithran, if you are NA, you get a thing. You get a thing.
Brangelina.
You get this thing. There you go.
Guild Wars 2 t-shirt. No, that's valid.
Wait, is that the t-shirt? Wait, hold that t-shirt up again.
This one.
Is that the same t-shirt that Teapot's currently wearing? No, it's
not.
No,
it's a bit different.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Is that
Mithran.
very good?
Mithran, make sure you're NA. You better be NA. Are you NA?
Those are the classic Guild Wars 2 t-shirts.
I saw another person say it though, so maybe. He's EU. He's EU also. You better move.
I
to
love
NA.
that people from EU know they can't win and they're submitting answers anyway. I
Still
love
answering
it so
anyway. I like that. That's good.
I'm gonna go back up. Hold on. Person.
Can you control F, Farron?
This is Teapot's chat.
He even said NA. He even said NA only.
Yeah, this is Teapot's chat. This is how it works. This is what they do. Okay, hold on. We got Mithran said it, and then anybody after that. Oh, he said not NA, but he says she says Farron. That was the next person.
Crab on Acid just says, is it 5XL because it's for NA only?
Nice.
Dakuka.
That's good. Get wrecked. Get wrecked, NA.
Is Dakuka from NA? Dakuka? This is important. Don't help.
Tommy, yes, I'm drinking whiskey. It's the only way to get through this episode.
Isn't that bad?
Would you put this at the worst Living World release for you, Inks?
Probably of the season.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, I really didn't like the delivery. It's not so much the content or Balthazar or even the future, because I'm actually excited for the threads of the future, but the delivery of the story just triggered me in so many different ways. There's just characters in this story, unfortunately, that I just don't care about. And I want to care about them, but I just don't or can't. And it's a bit frustrating to me.
Oh, that's a great little segue there. So the impression I got from the dev AMA is that one of the things the devs are excited to explore now, coming out of the Balthazar reveal, is a fracture between Marjorie and Casimir, because one believes more in the gods than the other, and that they're going to have to, like, so Marjorie's she chose Balthazar over me, right? How do we feel about that? Is that
look, Marjorie was supposed to, she's living on borrowed time anyway. She was supposed to be dead during the Scarlet thing. So now she's been wrecked twice now, where she almost died. Yeah. Arena keeps teasing me.
I thought that was kind of funny.
Like, she's going to die.
See, Marjorie's always getting beat up on. It's pretty brutal. Well, Casimir's already a bit of the sensitive type, isn't she? A bit of the,
Are you guys excited to see them fall out, basically? Is what I think they're doing is they're going to make them fall out. They want to push this whole... They're in a relationship, so now we move to the stage where they break up. Yeah. Like any good soap, I suppose, is what they're going for.
Are we going reality TV? Is that...
I literally do not
This is just a really long season of EastEnders, essentially, we're going to turn into.
I don't know.
I need to be a widow. I really just don't care.
You really don't care? Wow.
I don't care about their...
soul, man.
Because I think that's going to weigh on you, Inks, because I really think that's what the devs are going to push for now. I think we're going to see a lot between...
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. We're going to get a bunch of more break in the middle of the story, relationship talks between Marjorie and Casimir, where the commander is just a third wheel standing there.
Yeah, it's going to be like the Bram thing, where a character goes through a big change or a character has a problem or a chip on their shoulder or an issue that we, the players, won't empathize much with, and it's going to irk people.
Yeah, I mean, our player character has a bit of a history of doing that, though, doesn't he? Well, he or she, it kind of...
What's really funny is that those Casimir and Marjorie are arguing in the story, right? And Marjorie is like, look, I'm a strong, independent person. I don't even listen to the commander. Why would I listen to you? And it's just like, how did we get involved in this? Like, the commander gives you a command, and she's like, I'm not listening to the commander. I'm going to do whatever I want because I'm independent. And I just roll my eyes. I'm like, oh, God.
Okay.
Can I please have Taimi back? Can she just give me an iPad so I can play Candy Crush while this is happening?
What's with is help I'm being DDoSed by QT EU or NA?
EU.
I don't know, man.
Probably.
I don't even know the true identity of help I'm being DDoSed by QT.
It's hard to tell in Salt.
And then the next question is X Shadowcaster EU or NA?
Ask them. I don't know. Send them a message.
Okay. All right. Fine. All right. I'm giving up. This is terrible.
It's all gone wrong. All the EU people are answering.
They're all EU.
What did you expect?
Everybody's EU.
Do you not know my Twitch chat, man?
This has encouraged people even more now.
Yeah, it's made it worse. Made it far worse.
Here's a question for you guys, because I think I probably sympathize with Bram more than anybody here. And I think I was wrong in sympathizing for him because I kept taking a very human approach to it, but Bram isn't a human, he's a Norn, and so some of what he does may not actually make sense. But I think it's pretty clear we're going to have to go have a conversation with him now, saying, look, Jormag is asleep.
Yeah, this is awkward.
Don't go smashing him over the head while he's sleeping, just leave him be.
Whoa, you're right. Holy crap, dude. That right there, what I said at the start of this pod, that they're only asleep, that they're not going away forever. I think you just called what's happening in the next episode. I've not even thought of that. I think you're 100% right. I think Bram's going to go wake the dragon up.
He's going to go bop him.
Probably what's going to happen, yeah.
Kabram! Right on the head.
Well,
good job, Bram. You woke him up again. Good job, buddy.
The other thing is, if we're doing the theory of 3 teams doing all 6 episodes, the first one was Bloodstone Fen, White Mantle stuff. The fourth one was White Mantle stuff again, sort of. Fire Islands, then Fire Islands, and now Winter and probably Winter. So yeah.
Peaks, yeah. Hopefully Thunderhead Keep is where we're going. I'd love that. But yeah, they could be in a bit of a risk on episode 6 as well, because people didn't like the Bram thing, and essentially the season finale is going out on more of the Bram thing.
And you're going to have a conversation with him about, now Bram, I know you're upset, but come on now. Let's not go around killing dragons. Listen to the commander. And he's not going to want to.
So the question I would then have is, how are they going to tie that in to the next expansion, right?
There'll be a big reveal at the end, out of left field.
Obviously, leaks is kind of a little bit,
Taimi's going to give you a call on the phone, Teapot. She's going to say, Commander.
But we are all aware of kind of where it's going, right? We know at the end of the day, it's going to have to in some way integrate itself into the Crystal Desert. It would be foolish to pretend we don't know that.
How explicit do you want to be? Because I think I do know something else that, based on the leak, something else that probably will happen in the finale.
Just drop it. Just drop it.
Well, turn off if you guys aren't interested in the leak thing, honestly.
Actually, maybe we shouldn't talk about this. Whatever, go ahead.
So basically, one of the maps that you can see, I won't say what map or where, but one of the maps you can see that the brand is there now, where there's no indication there'd be brand before. So I'm guessing in episode 6 they might have Kraukatorrik move. I think Kraukatorrik might get up and
that's the link we get. That's the link we get.
And I think that could be, something like that. I think that's probably.
So do you think we'll be able to resolve the Jormag Bram issue as well? Are they just going to have just a boom cliffhanger right at the end? They're going to kind of go in that direction. Just boom. We're just going to lead it on. We're going to lead it on.
You know what I'm scared of? I'm scared that Bram is going to get Rox killed, and then he'll have to live with that, which will make him even more miserable than he is now. And Rox, unfortunately, is just a character that hasn't really seen development in this season.
For that reason, though, I think she's a bit of a fan favorite. Like, a lot of people like Rox.
Because they know nothing about her.
Yeah, she just goes along with it, and she's generally kind of cool. She's a chill character. And so people are like, yeah, Rox, okay.
But then Garm will be homeless again. Still no master. Sad Puppy.
When is the reveal that Taimi's Cormyr?
It makes
She's
sense.
Not far.
Wisdom.
She's not far. She's gonna push Balthazar out of the way of eating Aurene at the last minute and just absorb the
it's
power.
Gonna absorb the power and become a god. or become one with the eternal alchemy.
Here's what something.
See you later, suckers.
Here's something that's kind of cool as well. I don't know. You guys know that they keep growing Taimi, right? Throughout the episode. She's pretty huge now. She's like
getting bigger.
So should we stop calling her a kid now? For a long time she had like plot immunity because she was a kid, right? Basically.
She's like 17 or something.
Well, I think that
she's got cast. It's not cast iron. She's got legendary plot armor. Okay, she ain't going anywhere.
Scruffy is the legendary armor.
But I do think that Arena is trying to move her out of the light of being considered a child.
Definitely, that's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
One of the things that I dislike about Taimi is the fact that she was unkillable because she was a child. Now, don't get me wrong. I have no delusions that ArenaNet are ever going to kill that character, but at least it will make you pretend to feel like she's vulnerable or she's more vulnerable.
That you've just reminded me. This is something that upset me a little bit about this patch. I was really hoping for Taimi to make a mistake. I was really hoping she was going to put the two dragons to fight one another, and it was going to blow up in her face somehow, and we'd end up with a superpowered Primordus, ideally, or Jormag or something. Like, I was really hoping she'd have like that fall, right? Like, because it would harken back to the earliest things we heard about her, where she idolized Scarlet, and all those little things that could have eventually built into that. And now that's just gone. And I think that's why, like, now I'm like, oh, Taimi could have had a really interesting arc, and maybe then that could have put me in a place where I liked her more as a character. But no, that didn't happen. She realized that her mistake was upcoming. She cut it off early. She never made the mistake in the end. But
her machine did literally blow up in her face.
That is true.
Did the machine blow up? I thought the machine was fine in the end. I thought they were like, oh no, the machine just
got thrown over onto onto a ledge, right? Ah!
Yeah.
Oh, did she? Oh, okay. All right.
The machine's gone.
There was a really funny voice acting line. It was a really funny.
The one-of-a-kind OMAD's machine that she doesn't really understand how it works, it just does, is gone.
It blew up.
She overloaded it. Yeah. She's like, "Are you sure, Commander? You sure you want to get rid of this one-of-a-kind? Nobody knows how it works machine." And you're like, "Yeah, just blow it up." For some reason, we can't blow machines up. We just...
No, that's good, though. That's good, because, for everything you might hate that this machine was just a catch-all, I can do everything, at least they got rid of it now, right? That's good.
She'll build another one, but that's fine.
She won't build another one.
She won't build another one.
Tiny machine.
She has Spencer.
I think the whole dialogue that you hate inks at the end of her going, I'm tired, I made mistakes because I'm tired. I think that's just saying that she's not going to feature in the next episode.
She'll be asleep.
She'll be taking a nap.
I think she will be in the next episode. I think she's going to give us a phone call. She'll phone it in.
Phone call from bed.
Do you think they'll bump the scope up of the next episode because it's the final? Like, if you remember the end of season 2, they had that do you remember that cutscene that appeared at the end, and they did like a big set piece for the time, the Shadow of the Dragons? Yeah. Do you think the episode 1 group is currently working on episode 6? Do you get what I mean? Like, the guys that made Lake Doric, are they working on
3?
4?
Yes. Yeah.
Or are they making helping the final be bigger and better?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You get what I mean? Like, maybe the characters will appear because maybe it's got a bigger scope because maybe they're putting more efforts into it.
Well, yeah. Judging by this episode, they had a pretty grand scale, and by the fact that they even delayed it to make sure they polished it off properly, right? I think they are probably going to go for a big grand finale. And I think it will be a great way for them to basically have a hype launch pad for the expansion. Right? They can use that to just kick it off and get people hyping, get people excited to start building up, hyping up the next expansion. I think that'll be a really great plan. And if they are able to do that, then that would be fantastic. I'd totally.
Well, we got that moment at the end of season 2 for Heart of Thorns, didn't we?
Yeah. Do you remember that was hype? And then 1 week later, if you guys remember, it was 1 week after that cutscene and the finale came out. PAX South hit. And they had that huge stream and stuff.
And I think that we're going to see the exact same sort of thing. And I really, as much grief as I give the characters, I really do want to see them all represented in some way in the next patch. Ritlock should come out of jail or whatever he's doing. I think they should all make an appearance.
Yeah, that's kind of a complaint about the story. I mean, it was basically a Taimi solos the dragons. That's what it was. I honestly thought I was watching some kind of speedrun video, guys, when I was playing through the story. It was. It was crazy.
Is she in Snow Crows?
Probably. Taimi is probably in Snow Crows. I don't even know, man. But it's just, we're supposed to be this guild. We don't do anything together. We're all splintered out. And we all hate each other. Wait, hang on. I
kind of like that though. I like it. Season 1 and 2 had they had like this really crappy kind of plastic, like, oh, we're a group group that runs around together. That was just so lame. No one really moved. I like that the guild's like a shambles, and that it didn't just work out perfectly.
As funny as it is, I do too. It's because it's like, hey, by the way, do you want to join Dragon's Watch? And they're like,
nah.
Like Dragon's Watch seemed like such a shameless. Dragon's Watch seemed like such a crappy replacement for the original 5 Iconics. You know?
I like it too, though, because it addresses the problems that I had with the first, with the 11 Story Season 2, that basically they were all running around together, and because of that, either some people like hardly spoke at all or said like one line maybe in the thing, and they all had to have a line given to them. So it was all, he got this line because he's the smashing guy. Yeah, so this way they could actually write the characters better and not just have throwaway lines for each one.
Yeah, each episode features a particular character or characters that get a little bit more story, lore, and development, because as a group, that's really difficult for them to do.
Yeah. And you know, you keep those moments where they are all together as like a special thing, you know, that will happen in expansions.
And Taimi talks about that at the end of the episode, by the way. When you talk to her after you do everything, she's standing on the rock. She has extra dialogue when you talk to her. And she mentions about, you know, not really seeing much of Dragon Watch, and everybody's doing their different things. And what has Casimir and Marjorie been up to? Didn't they help you with Lake Doric? And you're like, no, they were off doing whatever. And then you talk about Bram and chipping the tooth, and the Norn won't let him rest because he's their new champion and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the end of Stand By Me, where everybody talks about how they go off to live other lives and they're not friends anymore, really, but they're still friends.
So it could make it more impactful when we unite against a new threat.
Right. Yeah, obviously. Right? And I think
that
there's
Avengers
a lot of
kind of hype.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of precedence for that, right? Because the way that we kill dragons, either via laser cannons or in their mind, is when we're together as a force. The elder races fail because they can't work together.
Yeah.
But we, the people of Tyria, work as a team.
Thanks to Traherne.
We made our little pact. I mean, let's be honest, guys, that was a bit of a disaster when we tried to do the whole Mordremoth thing. It turned into a bit of a clown fiesta where everyone just died. But don't mind that. Don't mind that. It was perfect execution. We just went inside his mind and bopped him. Simple stuff, guys. Simple stuff. Yeah.
See, I think that's pretty cool as well. The Logan at the head of the pact and stuff going forward. They could do some interesting stuff with that. Seeing like another pact attempt at another dragon.
And how has the blighting pot changed him? And
he's emo.
Still no Zojut's story or insight, but
or Ritlock.
Well, the Zoja thing might be because of voice actor concerns.
It is.
Yeah, someone literally just asked that in chat. What do you guys think they're going to do with Zoja? What do you think is the plan there?
I'm okay with not having her around. What's the big deal?
Well, we have her reincarnated in Taimi, right?
She just well
to a certain extent.
Taimi is like Zoja A++.
Even better.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so if in theory the next expansion is in theory to do with Kralkatorrik, all right. Zoja's got a stake in that.
It'll be a touchy, a little bit touchy subject there.
She's gonna have to come back.
She needs to come out of her coma so that she can.
Bit of revenge.
I mean, I wouldn't be like. Obviously, she's probably going to be able to come back for something as big as an expansion. Like rather than just for living stories, she'd probably be able to put them into a schedule for an expansion.
How do you feel about if they just replace the voice actress?
I think they're going to kill her. I think they're going to kill her in the next.
So just get the bit of voice acting, then just kill her off. Job done.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Because the alternative is kind of what Inks is saying, which is to replace her.
Right.
I mean, it'll be fine, right? Just you can change voice. Guys. My disbelief is suspended. We're in a video game. We've got magic.
If you play a male Char, your voice changes halfway, doesn't it? Male Char, you've got one voice through the personal story, and then in Heart of Thorns it changes or something.
That's actually really funny.
Yeah, it's not that big of a difference though, so it's not that huge of a deal. Somebody has been asking the same question about every 3 minutes.
I see that.
What is the question? What's the question?
Zekriox asked to all of us, I'm concerned for episode 6 because Ritlock and the origins of the Revenant class. I wonder if they'll touch upon it in the last episode. I hate making a Revenant that shouldn't exist because of continuity issues. If they don't exist, they shouldn't exist if Ritlock kept his mouth shut. I guess. And I guess he's just saying that he doesn't like that he doesn't have any good lore behind the Revenants yet, and he wants to know if they're gonna do anything for episode 6. My guess is no, they're not gonna do anything for episode 6.
So. I'm not sure if they're ever going to go there.
Unless that's the stinger, unless that's the last thing at the end, like that. There's a lot of different things they could do as a bombshell at the end, but then that would lead you in. I think it's a story that the next X-Pack will explore. Yeah,
because you've got the Crystal Desert, you've got Glint there, so that's a little bit Revenant, what's heraldy, so you could go in that direction.
And Ritlock has history with that area of the world. He went there. He was a part of that fight as much as Zildjian and that lot was.
So maybe he just comes in and says, "Oh yeah, while I was in the underworld, I noticed that Balthazar was there. He killed his brother, and
forgot to mention that."
I will say this too, though. I know that people want lore tie-ins, and so do I. But there is in this episode we encounter the druids. We get more, I guess, backstory on them, but the class druid doesn't tie into the druids. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't.
No, but Ritlock does quite. If you play Heart of Thorns and you listen to the way Ritlock speaks and they hint at it, and the fact that Ritlock doesn't really use Rev stuff. He uses like the Glint Dragon Wing stuff, right? I really think they're setting up. He met Glint in the mist. I'm like really sure that they're doing something like that. Like either that or the other dragon or something. I think it will tie in very nicely. There's also the fact that like one of the routes towards where Kralkatorrik is via Ebenhawk, and if you think about Ascalon is the area. The Iron Legion were the ones that struggled the most with the brand, and I don't know. I just think there's a lot of ties that are available to them.
Well, I certainly hope so, because I think a lot of people want to hear that story. Someone said about fractals, and they've addressed that before, that fractals just wouldn't be the proper place or scope for them to address that story. So as much as I like to wave my hand at it, sort of, I do think they have an idea, maybe not super concrete, but I do think they have an idea of what happened there and what that backstory is.
How mad would people who don't like lore in raids be if they did a raid about Ritlock?
No, not a good idea.
No, they got really upset over Saul. Can you imagine Ritlock, who is a more prevalent
they made it even easier than Wing 4. And I would not be opposed to that as long as the challenge modes actually provide the actual difficulty. Right? So if they made them repeatable in some way. Right.
Look, if there's not a story mode and you add Ritlock's story in there, they will not be happy.
unless it's actually really, really easy that you can do it as a casual player.
And you got to find 10 people, they will not be happy.
10 people, but you get infantile mode clouds. What about that, Inks?
Yeah. Well, then you can just solo it. You don't need people. Just add clouds. Just do it.
I think potentially the next big time this is going to be an issue for raids is if they do a Wizard's Tower raid. Because Wizard's Tower is totally a side story. Wizard's Tower is totally capable of being a raid, but enough people are interested in it that would blow up as well.
What if it was Balthazar in the Wizard's Tower all along?
Oh, stop. He doesn't even tie in.
Balthazar is the wizard this entire time.
I mean, I would love to see the Wizard's Tower. I would love to see more of Janthier, possibly more of that sort of story with the eye and all that, but
I feel like that's done.
If you do the wizard, you feel like it's done. It just blinks away. That's the end. That's the end of the eye. It just blinks off.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Someone just pointed out in chat with the Ritlock thing. Do you guys know that they gave him actual lore in a different game about what he was doing in the Mists? Are you guys aware of this?
Yeah, the Master...
Yeah, in Master, you can actually play an NCSoft game as Ritlock, and they explicitly say in that, this is what Ritlock did in the Mists. He came to planet Earth. He fought the Sind. He did this and this and that. There's all this crazy stuff that apparently, according to that game, is canon what Ritlock did in the Mists. No word of a lie. That's exactly what they say in game. Ritlock came to the Mists and then he came here to planet Earth and blah blah blah. It's crazy. It's really weird. I don't think Guild Wars 2 would do that, but yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to see a buddy cop sitcom of Ritlock in his travels in the mist on Earth.
It's so crazy because they got another character in that game that is did anyone play FF7 here? Anyone play Final Fantasy 7?
Yeah, I used to, yeah.
You know the character Kate Sith in that? Just a giant cat, just a giant Moogle, just a giant round cat. There's a character like that in MXM, and because they're both cats. No, it's giant.
On a big... No, it's a
small
cat
yeah, you're right. Yeah, on a giant pink teddy bear thing. But so if you imagine a giant thing like that, there's like a cutscene where Ritlock is talking to one of those, and they're like talking to one another about it.
Is that Rim just brought up a great point? Is that the next ad campaign? Someone's going to dress up as Ritlock and drive around in a taxi.
Ritlock in this Ritlock taxi cab.
Ritlock had to get a job because he didn't have any money.
Oh my
Gold wouldn't work. Gold doesn't. He was trying to pay people with gold coins. Didn't work.
There's someone. The early conventions around 2012, 2013. Someone used to have this ridiculous Ritlock cosplay. Do you guys remember that?
I do.
Really good, like massive Ritlock like outfit. So that's totally out there. That guy should do it. He should do a troll campaign for the next expansion.
Get hyped. Get hyped. Ritlock taxi service. Pretty hype. Yeah. You guys got anything else to talk about?
Oh, so much.
I wanted to mention real quickly Zin.
And Mox.
And Mox. Mox was really cool. Yeah.
Mox.
Zin, the thing that excited me, Zin is such a typical Asura that I just loved it. I loved just his attitude, his sneer at everybody else, and it's just a little piece of the map and a collection. I think it's a shame that they didn't give you some type of recorder or book so that you could re-listen to it in order later. But
yeah, what is that? I haven't actually done this yet, so I'm looking forward to it, but I haven't done that part of the map yet. But I saw someone saying there's no recorder.
Fun. Yeah, there's 14 of them. Really, really fun. It tells sort of the story of what happened to Zin after he leaves Radanovis.
But can I just ask though? They kill him off at the end, don't they? They like 100% confirm he's dead.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Is that true?
Yeah, he's deceased. I don't like that. He's no longer operational or something
on the map.
Yeah, but I mean, it could have been a decoy tomb, just like they did with Saul or whatever, right? Like
true. But yeah, no, and he gets killed in the most
kind of lame way, really, isn't it?
Lame way, yeah.
Oh, is it? What is it? How does he die?
So spoilers about Zin.
Why are these the sacred spoilers? We've talked about
We've talked about some other pretty spoilery stuff.
But the final recording is basically him issuing out the final commands to terraform the garden, the volcano, to build the new Rada Arcanum.
Yeah.
And he's yelling out orders, and all of a sudden he just goes, ah! And someone's like, oh no, the druids killed Zin. And then you hear a bunch of other screams because the druids are just slaughtering all the Asura. And that's it. That's the end of the story.
Is there anything that suggests he might still be alive? Anything in there?
No. Like you heard his death wail, and they literally tell you in the recording that he's dead. Like, oh my God, the druids just killed Zin. Like, he was just standing there giving out orders, and the druids just smacked him down.
I loved the idea he was the leader of the inquest still, and that he was deeper in Radanovis and all that stuff. Those were really cool theories.
Well, I mean, he was trying to replace Radanovis because of it getting completely infested.
Destroyed by Chuck, yeah.
I think he calls them ants at one point.
That recording is just a decoy, though. In reality, he transferred his consciousness into Mox. So Mox is currently inside your home instance as Zin, and he's just he's pulling a Lazarus on all of you.
I thought he was Balthazar.
Everybody's
Balthazar.
He's Balthazar, and also Lazarus. Scarlet, and also E.
And Traherne as well. Let's get the combo.
Get
the combo
Aaron is E, and also the leader of the Mesmer Collective. I'm stuck on that, and that's not moving.
And also Zin.
And
you're done.
Every character is every character.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, I don't know. Mox is the new member, guys, of Dragon's Watch.
I don't think he's going to be a member. I think he's just going to be your jukebox in this.
Of course.
Look at him. Come on, why can't he? Why can't he?
He's awesome.
Why
he's
can't
awesome.
He
I love the design of the old golems.
Just add him. Add him to the
newer ones.
I'll tell you why he can't join. Because he can't follow goddamn directions.
You're damn right he can't. You don't listen to a damn thing you said.
What was really cool, I loved his voice. The audio that they layered over his voice, it was so cool. Like just perfectly robot-y, but stones grinding together. That was cool.
It sounds. I
know you're talking about Boots. You tell him say goodbye to Webby. And what happens? He brings Webby.
Yeah, well, come on, man. Come on. You can't expect him to let go of his friend.
We got another Bram on our hands.
Come on.
I don't know exactly how to get Webby to appear. Sometimes he's there and sometimes he's not.
You
I don't know if you have to listen to his dialogue or something, but
spider.
Yeah, Webby is just sometimes there. I don't quite understand why.
He walks around.
Yeah.
Do you want to do your last giveaway, Boots, by the way?
Boots.
Well, okay, I don't know what to do about these giveaways anymore.
I got a question for people if you want.
Oh, got a question.
Okay. All right, so that'll be for the hat. And
Okay.
for God's sakes, NA, please. What I'm gonna do though is for the other 2 shirts that originally went to EU people because people are stupid. I'm actually still gonna try to give them to those people who got it right the first time around from EU. I'm gonna see how much it costs to send it to you guys, and if it works, I'll do it for these 2 shirts. So that would be.
Such a good guy.
That would
Good
be
guy, Boots.
Cheesington and Neok Online were the first 2 EU people who did it. Mithran, I'm sorry, you should have learned by the 4th time around. But Cheesington and Neok Online, there you go. And I'll try to get it to you guys.
T-shirt shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Just for reference, don't ever try that wooden box that we got for Heart of Thorns that was engraved. Don't try to send that to like Iceland or wherever the hell I sent it. That was expensive.
Oh, you had to send something to Iceland, really?
It was somewhere in that region of the world, but yeah.
Oh, damn.
Wow.
Okay, so this hat, what's the question?
All right, okay. So only NA people respond to this.
Please.
The question is, what are the names of Balthazar's 2 hounds?
Ooh.
Oh.
If you don't know
good
that,
one.
You have to have correct spelling too.
Oh, with the perfect spelling. I don't even know the perfect spelling. But that's sort of vaguely related.
Pretty rough. Oh, I think we've already got the answers. Yep, there we go. It's done.
I think. Oh wait, is it Tigan or Tigon?
Oh man, wait, I don't know. I just don't know how to spell it.
I think it's Tigon.
Tigon?
Tigan is a singer.
Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bork and Doge.
Oh, what's the spelling?
Is it Tigan and Timur?
Is it
Tamar?
Is it 2 A's? It's 2 R's?
Boots doesn't even know the answer.
I don't know. I didn't ask the question.
Yeah, I don't know the perfect spelling.
It's Tegan and Tamar.
What is...
Tamar. Yeah.
Timon and Pumbaa. Yeah. Yep.
Tamar and Tigon.
Yeah, Tigon with an A.
Okay, so the first person to get that one right was Riot Control, because I'm sorry, oh no, it's Isengriff McCabbages, Nophamus.
Wait, what?
Oh, I feel so bad. He got so close, but he got it wrong. So it's Riot Control. Who gets it right.
Control. You win a hat. But wait, no, it's not Tigon. It's Tigan.
It's Tigon. On Wikipedia, it's Tigon.
What?
Tigon? Tigoff.
Have they been inconsistent about it in game?
I'm looking on the wiki and it says it's with an A.
On the wiki for Hounds of Balthazar, it's Tigon.
Oh wait, what? Oh wait,
Ooh, it's like the Lissa and Ilya Lissa thing.
Oh, wait a minute, what? What's going on here? Why is it? Why is it different?
I'll give a little payoff because I know I bash Taimi a lot. I will say that the voice actress who plays Taimi does, in my opinion, she gets better and better at line delivery, and even some of the dialogue, even some of the banter dialogue, sometimes can be pretty good for her character.
Yeah, like Taimi's good. Her deliveries are good. Taimi's a great character. But she's not the character. She's not the character that you explore the world with and saves the world. She's a great character, but she's not the one that should be, doing the things that she's doing. She's the kind of awesome character you go back to for a bit of like relaxation and comic relief and just like casual banter. She's not the one with the fate of the world on her shoulders. She's not the one who's supposed to be there with an elder dragon and a god. She's not the one that should be making all these solutions. She's a great character. She's just being forced into a place that she shouldn't be in this story. That's her problem. Mm-hmm. Like, because I mean, she is cute. There's nothing wrong with having a cute character in the game. There's nothing wrong with having someone who's fun and kind of ditzy and whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. That's good. And the fact that they execute it so well, and the voice acting, the delivery's so good, is also awesome. That's all good points for Guild Wars 2.
Yeah. But she shouldn't also be the most useful person in the group.
Exactly.
When way better than the commander.
She's a bit overpowered. I'm gonna
Blunt. Flunt should be doing what Taimi is, like from a style of character.
I don't know. I hate
a cantankerous old bastard.
Isn't he supposed to be a bit of a
whoa. You can't hate Flunt. He's a typical Asura. Oh, Flunt is so good. You are crazy, Boots. You are out of your mind.
Flunt would be awesome.
I don't
hate
Flunt
doing the stuff Taimi is, because you'd hate the fact he's doing that. You'd be like, oh my god, this guy's such an arsehole, and yet he's saving us all. For God's sake. Like, that would be cool.
That's why he's a great Asura. He's such a little asshole.
That's what I'm saying. I don't hate Flunt because he's not a well-designed character. I hate Flunt because he is a well-designed character.
Oh man, Flunt is so good. I love seeing Flunt.
What just happened there was the verbal equivalent of like when, like a really controversial video appears on YouTube and no one knows whether to like or dislike it. They're like, I don't like what I'm seeing, but do I like the video because, the video is good.
Yeah.
It's controversial. It's Flunt.
No, I like Flunt because he typifies Asura to me, just like Zin does. And I feel like in Guild Wars 2, not all of them, but a lot of the Asura characters are watered down versions of their Guild Wars 1 counterparts. And the same is true for Char as well, and Norn. I mean, all of the races sort of, a lot of times they feel slightly watered down as to what they originally were supposed to be.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. The Char, they're okay though, because like the Iron Legion, at least, like, Smoda, their Imperator, he's really unconventional, and he's, so you can sort of see that they would be a little bit, lower on the curve. At least at one day for the Char, we'll go to the Blood Legion homelands, and they can be vicious, cannibalistic, horrible, and they could recapture that with the Char 100 times. The Norn and the Asura, they kind of don't have that out, unfortunately. Yeah.
He's got to get those cute cats, Got the whiskers in there. Have you seen all their little emotes? Woo. That's what they're there for.
What about the Savari? Well, the Savari are a unique creation to Guild Wars 2, right? Really.
They can be what they want. The Savari, the idea of them was always to be like really curious, and I think they're still generally very curious and like naive almost.
Interesting. They're a pretty interesting race,
And there's a lot of characters within the game that signify that,
Canuck.
right? That curiosity.
What a god. Canuck is a god, guys.
Canuck's one of my favorite characters. Easily.
What a meme lord.
And he's not going to be in the story anymore.
And he's gone.
He's free.
The spiciest character. The spiciest character in Guild Wars 2, and he's gone. Feels bad.
Yeah. I like that though, because like back in season 1, Canuck was like really cool and he was barely around. And I like the idea we might be going back into that kind of territory. I didn't like that he was in Heart of Thorns. Really, like realistically, why did Canuck come on the Heart of Thorns? He was just thrown in there. He was good in it, but there was no real reason for him to be there. To be honest.
Well, he's he was in Anissa's service,
He's Bender from Futurama as well, right? Like how crazy is that? How crazy is that?
You don't hear it at all. It's just weird because most of his characters sound like Bender.
John DiMaggio, very talented dude. Very talented.
Yeah. I thought he was like a H. John Benjamin kind of guy, but apparently not.
No.
Yeah.
It's pretty hype, actually.
I was gonna say though, what was I gonna say? I have to do another giveaway because Cheesington is being a very, very nice guy and saying, "Don't ship it to me. I made a mistake, so make another one. Do another giveaway."
Okay.
One last one, I think.
One last one.
Well, NA people only. NA people only.
NA only. Come on. Come on, guys.
Do you have another question, Boots? I got a really hard one.
Oh,
then do it.
Do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Give us
In the
really
personal story, there's a personal story mission where you channel Balthazar, and in that they describe him as not being just the god of war, but of something else, which was never a Guild Wars 1 attribution for him, and we never heard since. What was it?
Oh man. I don't know.
That is a tough one.
That is a tough one.
I'm hoping that someone gets this because I actually can't remember exactly what it is. I know I'll recognize it if I see it.
Donk.
Someone's gonna know it.
I hope they do because I'm actually gonna have to go to the wiki now.
Is it murder?
The god of friendship.
Is it god of murder?
Murder? It's somewhere along those lines.
Murder, destruction.
All right, we're giving it to Isengriff.
Is it?
We're giving it to Isengriff because.
Oh, you're just going with it.
Is it destruction?
Well, it's the first one.
Wait, what's the actual answer though? That's the real.
Yeah,
question.
hold on. Well, we'll just keep talking. I'll find it.
Pancakes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is the god of pancakes.
We kind of got sidetracked a while ago about the map. Do we have any thoughts about the map? A few little side thoughts on the map. itself?
I mean, it's beautiful. I like it a lot. I think some people were annoyed that there's a lot of jumping, like it's like a giant jumping puzzle, but I kind of enjoyed that.
You got the new mastery. We need to talk about the new mastery, guys. It's amazing. You've got the grappling hook. It's hilarious. You can use it while gliding. It feels like what a mastery should be. It's really, really cool to unlock it, and it's a lot of fun. And it works in with the jumping puzzles and guild halls as well. Really, really cool stuff.
Adding it to guild halls is a huge boon for the game and building in general.
I like it.
The god of mass murder. Jesus.
Yeah, some people say
it's basically something like that. It's something crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of the map. I'm not a big fan of the vertical maps in general. This one is better than, what is it called, Bloodstone Fen, in my opinion, as far as vertical maps is. But I like the green areas, but not a big fan of the rocky. When you get some of the higher up areas where it's just the rocky terrain and the whatever that effect on the volcano.
That's a bit weird, doesn't it? That's a bit weird.
It hurts my eyes to look at for any length of time. So. Yeah, it's okay. I don't know.
What do you guys think of the meta? The meta is a thing.
Metas are better. I think they did a better job than metas.
The new Wyverns are really cool. They've got some Gorseval animations in there. A new really fancy model as well. I really like the two little bosses. I kind of feel like
you break them.
Well, you'll never break them. It's your open world PvE. I feel like the metas in these maps always lack a little bit of punch. You don't really get anything specific for doing it. You don't get a shiny chest after fully completing it. And then, nothing really happens after you beat the boss, and it's going, well, there you go. Then you just go around again. But, again, that's whatever.
Yeah, the answer was murder. The answer was murder, by the way.
Yeah. Well, here it is. While many often praise and ask for him for courage and victory in battle, there are individuals who call the god violent, even going so far as referring to him as the god of mass murder. His brother Menzies waged war, blah, 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 blah. And, so, I mean, he's not such a good guy. Maybe we shouldn't be so surprised that he's kind of a dick.
No, totally. They're one of my favorite stories about the lords, the gods, that shows that they are fallible, that shows that they're not like what you might initially interpret them as, was some lore from Factions, where you hear that Balthazar was challenged to a game of some Asian board game or something. And they play in it, and this guy beats Balthazar at the game. Fair and square, he just beats it. Balthazar loses. So Balthazar goes mental and kills him. And then that's it.
Just flips the table and kills him.
And smashes his head in with the table.
Then the spirit of that guy is left as he's a hero of the Canthons, and he's left in that area. That's the guy we're dealing with. And I think it was a great choice. Really good choice of any god to pick to come back down.
We'll find out that actually the gods are actually assholes. That's good.
Yeah, and I think him saying I have learned that there is no honor in battle really does in war. It really does point to the fact. Really points. I think it points to the fact that he did kill his brother. And I think he's like,
or his brother.
I'm a broken man now. I'm a broken god.
Thrown down or whatever. Yeah.
Angry boy.
So what do you think? You think it's the Balthazar one, not the Menzies one?
I think so.
Yeah. Could go either way.
But no, I don't think so, because then how does he lose his power? Do the other gods punish him for killing his brother? I don't think so.
Maybe not. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's just that he did lose against Menzies. Menzies did some underhanded trick, and that's what he means by there's no honor in war.
So here's where before I was thinking about the whole Menzies thing, there's a much more blunt thing. Like, one of the biggest unanswered questions about the gods that is so pivotal for so much of the story, particularly when you rewind the clock to GW1. And a lot of people thought that this character was going to be Lazarus, and that's Abaddon, right? There's still a big question that they've never been explicit enough about. Why did Abaddon, above all the other gods, Abaddon wanted to give us magic? Abaddon wanted to favor the Marganites. Abaddon wanted us to have it all. Abaddon wanted to ignore King Doric.
Because he's a good guy.
Why did Abaddon have that different viewpoint? And then they went to war and they teamed up and killed the poor guy.
Oh my god.
And what you're essentially saying here, I thought, what we might be seeing is Balthazar is following in Abaddon's footsteps, so to speak. This same discussion is now going on between them.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the exact opposite. Balthazar is doing the opposite of what Abaddon was doing. I think Abaddon was actually a good guy. and he wanted he wanted the people of Tyria to keep magic.
Guy. I mean,
he wanted the people of Tyria to keep magic to defend themselves against the dragons that were coming.
Yeah,
what about the whole killing though? I don't know.
But that is after. That's after. Abaddon became a wanker after he was and after. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And he went crazy.
Yeah.
So
he went crazy in the realm
definitely a bad guy in Nightfall. He's definitely bad at that point.
Yeah.
But earlier, I don't know.
Oh,
I think he wanted to keep the magic in the hands of the people to defend them, because he knew the gods were going to leave as soon as those dragons woke up. So he wanted to make sure
we had the defense.
You can twist that though. You can twist that both ways, because it could equally be that, or it could be Abaddon's short-sighted. He wants us all to become reliant on magic and love using magic, so that when the dragons wake up, we're all the more susceptible to be destroyed by them, which is another thing that
Why would he do that?
Because he's evil. I don't know. But that's the idea. That's the point. Like, is he good for giving magic, or is he bad for giving magic? It's a discussion of grey, and that's where the nuance and the beauty of the story comes from at a top level. And so
it's rather interesting, because the gods give the humans magic, right? And they have magic, and it gets out of control, and that's why the guild wars happen. And then Doric says, "Look, we can't handle it. You have to take it away from us. We're killing each other." It's interesting that Balthazar isn't like, "Well, that's good. I love murder and destruction." And
I think the real chain of events is dragons happen. The seers make the bloodstones, or make one bloodstone to house all the uncorrupted magic from the dragons, the remaining magic that's still in the world after the dragons left.
Hold on. They made the bloodstone supposedly to hide all of their magic so that the dragons would ignore them.
Yeah.
And so that when the dragons went back to sleep, they could then tap into it and get their magic back.
But it also sucked up all the magic that was left in the world when the dragons had already left. So yes, it's hiding the magic from the dragons. All the magic is currently in the bloodstone. Any uncorrupted magic, any magic that hasn't been sucked up by the dragons. And then the gods came along 8,000 years later, took the bloodstone, and then gave magic back, did something with the bloodstone to give magic back to the creatures of Tyria. Then Doric comes along and says, "This is crazy. War's happening, Balthazar. Too much war is happening. We don't like it. Please take it back." And then they split it up into 5 bloodstones and buried it somewhere, and then it exploded and went all over the place and whatever. But yeah, so Abaddon wanted to keep the magic in the hands of the people.
The gods plus bloodstone was retconned, people were saying.
No. There's a vague retcon with the idea that different chunks of the bloodstone only hold dominion over certain aspects of magic, which the devs sort of downplayed once Guild Wars 2 came around, because it was a very early thing in the prophecies manuscripts about a weird lore justification for why some classes did some types of magic and some classes did others that they've moved away from.
It makes me think that the bloodstones aren't so much magic batteries, but as much as they are magic vacuums.
Mana batteries?
What? Yeah, mana batteries. As much as they are magic vacuums, because people getting sacrificed on the bloodstones can't get resurrected because their soul energy goes into the bloodstone, and souls and magic and energy, it's all the stuff in the ley lines, it's all the same stuff. All the stuff in the mist, it's all this I think where we're going with this storyline is probably along the lines of dragons, whatever, that's just Tyria. But you as a player really need to understand your place in the world. The world is just a small part of the eternal alchemy, and things are much bigger than you are.
Definitely. Yeah. I think this is one of the more explicit. So you just made me realize something as well. And it would be really awesome if chat got involved with this. A lot of criticism I've seen that I can't appreciate or sort of get behind is a lot of people are saying, look, this is way too deep and Guild Wars 2 hasn't done enough to teach people about what the balls is going on here. I never played GW1. How can you expect me to follow what's going on? It's just not good enough. Did anyone really feel that way? Did anyone here feel about that? Because obviously I know the franchise quite well, so it all feels second nature to play through it and I get to enjoy it. But there has been a bit of a kickback on this patch that, Balthazar came too quickly in and I'm supposed to know who he is, but I don't because I've only played Guild Wars 2 as a Sylvari.
That was actually one of the points.
I think it's a pretty fair criticism.
Yeah,
I can definitely give some perspective on this. Now, I know not as much as Wooden Potatoes, perhaps, but I know quite a bit about the lore, even though my memory's not as good as it used to be. But my wife, on the other hand, doesn't. She's not overly. She's played a little bit of Guild Wars 1, but she couldn't tell you the story. She certainly isn't involved as much with the lore. So all she has to go off of are these Guild Wars 2 stories. So when something like Balthazar appears, she's like, "Oh, who is that?" And they're like, "Oh, the God of War." Like, you don't quite understand the impact that is happening in the story when you don't have the backstory and the back lore and that kind of stuff, I think.
I think the devs kind of did appreciate that, because but they did it a bit weirdly. At the end of that instance, it seems most people just instantly left. But you can talk to Marjorie about stuff. But also, if you walk into the secret part of the lab that Taimi had tried to keep a secret, there's loads of little Asura running around in there, and they're like, "Oh, who is that?" And then the other Asura go, "Oh, that's the human god of war." And they basically give you that noob crash course. Like, there's some little Asura that give that exposition there. I think a lot of people just miss it because, they leave the instance.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, there's stuff like the little details that you'd have to, then again, there's plenty of stuff you can actively search around for in the new map, right? You can get the logs to find out what happened to Zen, but they're bringing in these new characters, you're bringing these old homage characters. You've got a bit of Joko referencing as well in there as well. People don't know who the hell is that. If you haven't played Guild Wars 1, you've got Mox coming back. And all that good stuff as well, and then to a certain extent with the White Mantle stuff as well, right? It's all. Mm-hmm. It's all.
Do you guys think that people need? Do you think people need to know who Mox is? Because I saw this on Reddit. It kind of annoyed me. People were like, "Oh, you shouldn't put Mox in this." I didn't know who Mox was. I didn't play Guild Wars on. Do you need to recognize MOX?
No,
Did you need to recognize Ogden for his cameo in the personal story?
No, to a certain
small aspects like that, I don't think you need to.
Well, they can stand on their own as well. You just treat them as a new character.
Yeah, but giant plot lines probably do need a little bit more.
Need some exposition.
Don't get me wrong. It's not like they don't say. It's not like they don't tell you that Balthazar is the God of War. I just think if a player doesn't know a lot of the back lore, I don't think they quite appreciate the impact that's going to have on the story or the future of the story. Yeah, is kind of my point.
So one of the things I wanted to say, like a note I took, was I played the storyline recently with a couple of friends of mine. They're obviously not quite as much into the game as I am. And they basically said, where was it? Anyway, so like when we played it and then the big reveal of Balthazar, I can't find the line, but anyway, they basically said, "Oh, isn't that god? Oh, that's cool." So it's like, I think there's a lot of players who don't really care one way or another, and probably didn't see it coming. And so I think they liked that it was something that could have been mind-blowing to somebody who cared more, because oh wow, a god, that's really cool. But at the same time, I guess they're not as invested in it because they didn't get any lore hints moving up to it. I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's kind of what. No, I think you're right. And that's why I wanted to see. They should have been breadcrumbing stuff about Menzies and the Eternals and stuff like that before this, just to get those more, less highly focused people at least aware of Balthazar. Have him in the periphery before you drop it.
Exactly.
Like not even just Balthazar. Anything about the human gods, like what was the last thing we saw about Dwayna or Lissa or like seriously saw about them?
I think I think we're gonna get stuff now. I think this is why we're opening up that storyline now.
Can of worms. We can start eating a few tasty worms, a few grubs.
Sure, and that slublings, and that's great. But I think, and for some people, they probably may not mind, they may not care, but I do think some of that should have been breadcrumbed better, because it really just wasn't at all, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
And that's what we talked about way at the beginning, like.
Yeah.
Do you guys think, by the way, speaking of can of worms and stuff, do you think that now that Balthazar is on the table, next X-Pack might have a new raid that just might, maybe tiny a little bit, be the Fissure of Woe?
That'd be cool.
That would be great.
It would be pretty cool.
But do you think it would be a raid or part of the storyline?
Yeah. What if they brought back dungeons for it, guys? Because then it's everything is good in 5-man
It actually works as a dungeon really well as well. Like the format of that in GW1 was you loaded in and there were lots of different quests, so you would just pick.
I mean, all of the Guild Wars one, a good chunk of them anyway. Like stuff like Domain of Anguish. They were very open. You could start wherever you wanted, right?
Yeah,
I'd say, unfortunately, because of the reaction that so many PvEers had to big chunks, or not even that big chunks of lore being in raids, we're not going to get a raid with the Fissure of Woe, and we're more likely to get something like a raid with the Wizard's Tower.
I don't know. I think they could do both. I think what's most likely for Fissure of Woe, at least, Underworld might be different, but for Fissure of Woe, I think when we get the Ritlock story, we might actually inhabit, play as Ritlock in the Mists, and it would be a part of the story where we're in the Fissure of Woe as him for maybe a brief little while, something like that.
And then have a raid alongside that.
Or maybe, or I don't know. Or not.
I think they want to keep I think they've got quite a lot of backlash about this in all the raids, pretty much. So they probably want to keep the raids as side stories, right? They want to keep it pretty minimal because otherwise the triggering will happen again. You know,
they could do the old dungeon format. Like the dungeon format was like dungeons. The story dungeon wasn't side story, but the explorable was the Fallout. Like they could still do that in theory. Like you play as Ritlock for the story in the Fissure of Woe, then you return later as a raid version for like.
Yeah, I really like that actually. Yeah, you could deliver the story, through 5-man content, and then you can have a bit of background on it, a little bit of extra detail in the raid.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what dungeons were in a nutshell, right?
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but you'll still get backlash from people saying that the story, like look at Ara, right? A lot of people like the explorable versions of Ara and some of the lore that exists there.
Yeah.
And I think that, with something like Fissure, there's great potential there, but they're making raid bosses easier, generally speaking, anyway. I don't know.
Yeah.
What I hate is that Wing 4 was so much easier and no one's accepting that. No one's giving the devs the credit on that there is more accessibility there. There's just like, oh, it's too hard for me or it's not too hard. And that's
I think a lot of people have written the book in their own head of whether or not they're going to be into raids.
They just want it to be trivial. They just want it to be trivial, though. That's the thing.
It might not be difficult. It might not be difficulty they worry about. It's just the social aspect of having 10 people. I think that's the bigger part.
Yeah,
it's definitely a big part of it.
As big a joke as I made out of can't find 5 more people, that is a complaint that a lot of people have with it.
Yeah.
So somebody has been also saying another thing in chat for a few times, and it was a cute theory that I had a long time ago too.
Cute. This is getting off well.
It's a cute theory.
So what does that mean? You don't really like it?
Pencil? No, it was a theory that I thought of a long time ago, so I like it, but I see the holes in it already. But is that Tyria is actually another fractal of the Mist? Yeah, it was by pencil stroke. And so, I mean, it's possible. It would explain all the reoccurring dynamic events and
repeatable hearts.
And why the different maps are like the maps are wedged in time. This is why you don't see the Lake Doric stuff when you're in Divinity's Reach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I think it's much more likely that it is just a world, and Fractals of the Mist are, like stated in the wiki, resonating things in the mist from the world, just like.
What's really interesting though is when they were justifying lore-wise the existence of world versus world combat, they basically established that there's a giant ass multiverse and all that. There are lots of different versions of Tyria. There's the version of Tyria that is Tarnished Coast players in it, and there's a version of Tyria that's Fort Aspenwood players in it, and there's a version that's Jade Quarry and so on and so on and so on, which is essentially Fractals again, kind of. So, like, there's total precedent for it. They almost outright said it.
The servers are each little fractals.
Yeah,
but they did away with that. They did away with that because, my brain terminology. Forget it. Move on.
Okay. Well, somebody also says, what do you think about the destroyed planet in Harbinger's texture? The Harbinger of Woe from the Fractal. It could be the harbinger of the possibility of Tyria getting destroyed.
The premonition of the destroy. They just got that little secret in there.
Well, see, I love that destroyed planet. I think that's top. It's really cool. But the problem with it is that they're just reusing it from another area of the game, and it's probably the worst place in the world they could ever put something to be meaningless for lore. And what they're reusing it from is a mail carrier, A gem store mail, and not just a mail carrier.
The Guild Wars 2 one.
The anniversary mail carrier. So it's like
okay, maybe not then.
That's where, but there is still the question. So it's like that totally cuts it away. But the question is, why is that on the anniversary mail carrier? Why do they have that asset at all? Like
maybe that's a hint too.
So maybe at some point they were going to put a destroyed planet somewhere or something. Do you remember when Heart of Thorns came out and they messed with the skyboxes and they did that thing with the stars in the sky? Like a couple of stars started lighting up. Do you guys know about this?
No, what was this?
There's like 2 lights that appear in the sky now, and they do this weird thing that dragons are stars in the sky and all that. So maybe they were going to do something. I don't know though, but the Harbinger texture is just reused from a mail carrier. So whether it means anything, I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough. But it is called the Harbinger, and it does have a destroyed world in it. And we just heard about the world being possibly destroyed.
Yeah, and I love that theory.
The anniversary mail carrier was a hint this entire time.
That's right.
How could we have been so blind?
Yeah, how do you pair that together? Guild Wars 2's anniversary, it's a dead game now. The world's been destroyed.
It's the end of the world. Nice.
Well, I don't know.
They're gonna love
means.
it. It's dead game.
Wow.
Oh dear. Wow. Find something. Yeah.
I think we have a lot of questions, and do you want to just do the questions for like a few minutes and then get on?
Yeah, we can do a few questions.
Did you just say and then go home?
Go home.
I like the thought that you're at a studio right now.
Yep.
Yeah,
we are.
We're 20 minutes
Oh,
away
that's
from
the
my
TeaTime
house.
studio.
This is my professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all. I bring them all down to North America and get them in my studio.
At the TeaTime headquarters.
Yeah.
TeaTime studio.
Okay. Questions. What if the expansion about the human gods in the mist is about the human gods in the mist rather than about killing elder dragons like the expansions are paved out to be, rather than always going after a dragon? I think it's still going to be something about going after a dragon, because we are going to, we have to deal with the dragons, right? So,
but they're going to bring the gods in. The gods are going to be interfering with what's going on. Potentially more of them as well. We might see some other gods emerge. The other gods emerge.
Can't wait to see Cormyr again. I've missed her.
Oh.
See, this is what sucks though, man. Like, I was so excited about seeing the gods for so long, but now that I know Balthazar is literally just the avatar of Balthazar, like, I'm not even that excited anymore.
Because the others are going to likely be the same. So you're not hyped to see their true forms.
No, because the true form was so boring for Balthazar. Grenth is just going to look like a Reaper or something, or like, it's just going to be lame. It's just going to be lame.
Well,
sorry, I'm being really sour.
But I mean, the very real possibility is he only looked like that because he was at such low power. And fine, he has a representation that's known by everybody, so he'll go as that for now. He drops the line because that's how he sees him as.
If they substantiate what you just said, I will be over the moon. But until they do, I don't know.
It could be a different thing where, chat has said this will go kind of interesting. We have to go and save the dragons, and we end up kind of siding with them and reasoning with them in some way. I don't know.
Well, if we want,
we're changing sides.
Tyria has become our home, and dragons are basically
part of the landscape. Part of the scenery.
Part of the landscape. Are they also planeswalkers, just like the gods and got here just a long time before?
I think they're more fixed. I think they're a lot more.
What's really cool as well is at the end of Heart of Thorns, Morgemoth is essentially trying to reason with you. Now he's doing it kind of badly, but he's like saying, "I'm inevitable. You can't kill me. To deny me is to embrace oblivion." He's reasoning with you, and you're like,
he's not totally inaccurate. He's not totally wrong there, is he? Because
no, exactly.
it made all the magic completely go out of whack even more, right? And we now know that if we continue to do that, boom. He was being a bit of a dick, but he wasn't wrong really when he was saying that.
Yeah, and Zaitan was just telling us also that death good and more come. Like, it's deep. It wasn't easy to understand what he was trying to say before, but now you kind of get it, right? Death good, more come.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
I'm glad that I ended that conversation.
Yeah. Sorry, you're just gonna make them put Gachigasm now, dude.
Right on cue.
Yeah, there we go. Have you got Gachigasm enabled in your chat, WP? I think you should get it.
No, I don't think so.
I think you should get it in there, man.
If I have to specifically go out of my way to do it, probably not, because I'm a terrible streamer. I'm awful at this.
Do you have better Twitch TV?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah. It's just one of those. It's so you can see all the feels good mans.
Oh, okay.
You can enable it in your channel, and then you can get this amazing face that's appearing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
What was the next question?
Yeah. Raykid says, "Can NPCs use waypoints? Because I don't understand how Taimi's going to get out of the volcano."
Yes, they can.
They can, and they do.
Absolutely, they can.
I'll balance some of my soundness, by the way, and because we haven't talked about it yet. As disappointed as I was in Balthazar, Primordus looked cool.
Yes.
Did you guys like the head thing,
cool.
or was that lame?
I think it was awesome.
Yeah.
You know, his head, his teeth with lava pouring out. It was badass. It was really
cool.
I did like how he looked. It was a little bit weird because he looks very different, I guess, in Guild Wars 1, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is true,
but I still
look different in GW1.
I still kind of liked how he looked, and I did like too that they made him a lot more size appropriate. Like, I know he's part of the landscape or whatever, and he goes to sleep in the lava, but you can I've seen some people on Reddit doing like a scale comparison of the dragons and how big he should be on the map and stuff, and so I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about him is that he moved from back where he was before all the way down to the Fire Islands recently, right? So it makes me wonder, is there a giant tunnel underground that we could access now, or does he actually just live in the actual magma of Tyria, like underneath the crust?
I always got that impression that it was that.
And he seems to be able to move through the terrain very effectively, like, you know, just
creates earthquakes as he does it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes. It's like, I like the size as well, because I remember in the original trailer for Guild Wars 2, they had this concept art of Jormag and just how mammoth Jormag was. And I've always wondered, are they ever going to be able to do that? Like they kind of did with Zaitan, but obviously they had us far away from him so that we couldn't quite get that sense of scale. And I was so hoping that they'd do that for Jormag and Primordus and stuff, and they did. They may have copped out a little bit because we only saw his head, but hey, it's a Living World release.
Yeah.
There's only so much they can do.
Right.
And they made him big, and that was cool. That was really cool.
One of the things that annoyed me about Mordremoth was, yes, we did get like his tongue, which was cool, but like you never got a good sense of how large he was. They were just like, he's everything. He's the entire jungle.
But wasn't he?
It went
he
too
was more
metaphorical.
Wasn't he a bit more distributed though? Wasn't that how he was supposed to be to a certain extent? He was a bit more of a distributed consciousness.
I guess, but you don't get to see the physical. Like, if you look at this Jormag photo, which really makes me disappointed that we may not get to see Jormag. I hope we get to see what Jormag looks like, even if it's from a distance or something. You can physically see, like, he looks like he's a dragon, whereas Mordremoth is he's everywhere. He's a tangle of vines, and
he's an alligator.
He's
like,
whatever.
The Mordremoth thing, I'm like, I can so imagine some writers sitting in a room going, all right, how can we make Mordremoth epic? And one of them saying, he's the whole jungle, and everyone's like, oh, and their minds blow. I can imagine that sounds really cool on paper, but there was just something about the way Heart of Thorns went that just sort of didn't hit it well enough, you know, so it loses out.
Yeah.
But it is kind of cool that he's the entire goddamn jungle. In a lot of ways, Mordremoth is the biggest of all of them, and because he's just so. Unless they say the deep sea dragon is the ocean, right? Ooh. They can do it again with that.
Oh my god!
Unless they do that,
please no, please no.
People wanted that really big conflict, though, didn't they? They wanted that giant battle.
Okay,
and you got that with the mouth.
The deep sea dragon. I want the deep sea dragon to be that picture of that. It's like a Hydra or whatever taking over LA.
Yeah.
I want that to be like a basis for what Steve is.
I looked up Deep Sea Dragon on the wiki, and they have concept art from Kekai Kotaki from a long time ago. And I'm guessing it is going to be a Hydra, because already it wasn't 3 heads at the time, but already it was a dragon with like a sea dragon with a dividing head. So it makes me think that it will be a Hydra.
Yeah. Very serpentine Hydra type.
The other thing that really concerns me is with Kralkatork. I really hope that we get a decent look at Kralkatork, because in the books they describe him as being this rolling storm, and he sort of hides within the storm because of how massive he is, right? I hope we don't just see his head peeking out of some clouds or something.
Oh, I don't know. You might get that. That might be exactly what
that could still be cool, though. You could have a giant dragon claw smashing down out. You could kind of be
peeking out,
yeah.
Peeking out.
His limbs, his tail could swipe at you or something. I think that can still be cool. I think it can still be really cool.
I think that's certainly feasible, but I hope that's not totally true.
It's just so hard to do a fight. Like Teapot was talking about this a little bit earlier. Like, what do people want? Do they want the giant, Zerg-based thing that you kind of get in Dragon's Stand, but then that means your individual contributions to the event, you don't really feel like the hero? Or do you want to be just the one guy fighting? Like, and how do they do it? This isn't Shadow of the Colossus. This isn't, like, it's an MMO. Like, how do you tie that into your actual skills and build and stuff as opposed to environmental stuff like cannons or whatever? Like, it's so hard. Like, really tough.
Yeah, I imagine if it was Shadow of Colossus, though.
I know, a lot of people have really liked that idea in the past, right? Like, actually climbing around on Kralkatorrik, find a weak spot and hit it.
World of Warcraft did something like this, right? In raids, right? With Deathwing.
So did Rift. They did a similar thing as well.
You fight on the dragon.
See, what I think could be cool, like, I think that the engine is actually capable of it. Like, if you think about, they've done it a few times, but think about specifically Super Adventure Box, the Super Eagle shortcut. Just replace that with an Elder Dragon and don't have a Super Adventure Box aesthetic. And have you fighting on a giant thing flying around a map.
It doesn't even need to be moving. They can just pretend it's moving, right?
Yeah, which is what the Eagle does. It's just the environment is moving.
Yeah, that's really funny. I saw this. It just moves the map around.
Yeah, right? So do that with an Elder Dragon.
Yeah, exactly. And then just move the entire map.
Inks had a good idea with what's happening in the next story. I think that's probably what's going to happen. Bram is going to come by and say, I know he's asleep, but that's the best time to kill him. And I have to kill dragons as I am a dragon hunter. And so he's
got to get that dragon hunter lore in there. Yeah, got to get that dragon hunter lore. Yeah.
So he's going to go up there and try to kill in his sleep. And I mean, that would be very similar to the way we kill other dragons. Zaitan, I mean, it's all sort of... We don't have a very good way of killing dragons yet. I hope it comes at some time. It doesn't look like it's going to come with Primordus. Jormak, he's probably going to be asleep while we kill him.
What do you mean it's not going to come with Primordus?
I don't think Primordus is going to play into the story anymore.
This is so ludicrous. It totally is.
I don't think he will.
Gone.
He's not gone. He's going to be the last one we kill.
He's chilling.
Yes. Look, I'm with WP on this one. If we encounter Primordus again, I was so scared that we would kill Primordus off first or early. No, Primordus needs to be the last.
Yeah, and this is just a delay. That's all it is. It's just a reasonable the big criticism of Guild Wars 2 is why are we standing around with these supposedly threatening Elder Dragons not doing anything? Season 3 has answered that question. Well, for now, these two are asleep, but Kralkatorrik's going mental, so we're going to go have an expansion where we kill him. That's their answer to this huge criticism that has dogged on this game for years. It's just a delay.
I disagree. I think it is. I think it is the reason why they put them to sleep, because they want to concentrate on other things. But I don't think he's coming back. I think he's gone. I think he's part of Tyria, and he's not gonna die. We're not gonna kill Primordus.
Well, now that's slightly different to what I was originally saying. Maybe
he's just dormant again, and he's not going to be.
Maybe you're right, but Primordus will be a fixture in the story, and we will have moments where we see Primordus in his entirety, and we will have like epic events and things will unfold with Primordus.
There is. We do have to come up with a final solution for the dragons because right now, final solution for the dragons.
Oh damn!
Well, because right now we put them back to sleep. Right, with two of them we put back to sleep. They're going to wake up again. They're not going to stay asleep forever. So
yeah, that's right.
You need to find a way to keep putting them back to sleep or some way to subvert the magic into something else.
And, this is a kind of cool callback back to pre-2012 as well. Way back when the game was coming out, there were serious suggestions that each of the orders you choose would have different methods of taking down the Elder Dragons. And the Order of Whispers one was put them back to sleep. And that never manifested in the game ever in any way until this patch. So in some ways, I quite like that they did that as well. Yeah. It's like finally paying off on what some people were, the expectations that once upon a time were laid down.
It's like one of those puzzles. You got to kill them in the right order, right? It's like, the puzzle. What was the puzzle that you have to press the? What episode was that in? Where you have to do the weird little mini game thing where you click the colors in the right order.
Oh, they did that a couple of times.
Yeah, but episode 2, you're thinking.
It's like that with dragons. You gotta get them in the right
It's essentially Bop It. What we're playing is Bop It.
Yep.
And if you mess
Twist
up...
Turn it.
No, I didn't twist it. I bopped it.
Oh no! We accidentally
Oreen's
destroyed the planet. Oh dear, what a disaster.
Yeah,
there we
Arene
go,
is
actually.
the solution, but Arene
I agree.
can't be she's not going to be able to consume she can't
Why not?
offset all of the dragons.
She takes all of the magic of the dragons.
No,
They're
I don't
all
think so.
gone. Primordus is asleep, and then she becomes the replacement for Balthazar as a god.
What?
What?
No.
Yeah,
I agree with you up until
a dragon god.
I love it.
Don't get me
Wacky,
wrong.
let's do it.
I think Arene can replace some of the dragons we killed, but I don't think she's going to be the replacement for all 5 of them or something. All 6 of them, excuse me.
Yeah, she's a dragon god now.
How do you guys feel
She's
about the fact,
Cormier.
though, that the story could go to a very tedious place where we're essentially just like, all right, here's Arene. Now let's get our next replacement. Now let's get our next replacement. Like, that is a solution, but it's kind of a boring one to sort of go through the motions of, which is what I think holds most people back.
I think it would be
like
if
how-
we grow our dragon and we train our dragon to fight the other dragons and then beat each other up.
I like how I
So,
have
boom.
my crazy theories that are obviously not right, but I like saying them anyway. And then there's always the same 3 people in chat saying wrong, and I always know who they're gonna be.
Oh, that's sad, though.
It's because people are really invested in the wrong meme. They miss Brazil, Boots.
They
Miss Brazil.
They're trying to replace him to say wrong.
Yeah, exactly. It helps.
It has to be said about everything. I mean, wouldn't you feel empty without being said you're wrong at least once a week?
Yeah.
No,
I
look,
think
everyone's doing it now. You set them off.
Yeah. Oh,
You
so
had to say
I wasn't. I was right though. I was wrong. It's true. It's more than 3 people now.
Yeah. Incorrect. Invalid.
Incorrect. I find I say that quite a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And
Just gotta hold a finger up at people. Hold a chip. 'cause you're a potato.
Erroneous.
Like, hold a chip up. Incorrect. Nay.
I used to have an English teacher who would say erroneous all the time. again and
Erroneous.
again.
That sounds like an
Erroneous.
Azura would say, actually. It's a bit Azura.
Yeah. Yeah.
Erroneous.
She was very high horsey about saying erroneous instead of just saying wrong or incorrect.
Wow. She sounds lovely.
She was a lovely, terrible teacher.
Sounds pretty brutal.
I had a science teacher who wouldn't let us go to the washroom if we said, "Can I go to the bathroom?" You had to say, "May I please go to the bathroom?"
My
And then
father
my-
used to say that to me all the time. I could never say, "Can I do this?" He'd always just respond and say, "Can you?"
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like,
That's what it is.
Please, may I go to the toilet?
Well, there we go. Like everyone, it turns out that everyone's had a terrible childhood here, abused,
Yeah, that's a terrible childhood.
and that's like that. That's how you. That's why you play Guild Wars 2. It's the
See,
gateway.
To hide from it.
Nike has a great question. This is another reason I need a Taimi doll. I don't have a doll to show you, Nike. Sorry.
Yeah. Does that about round it off, guys?
I think so.
I think we've kind of covered everything. It's been a bumper tea time, guys. Okay, we've
It's been
done
really awesome.
3 hours for 3 wooden potatoes, as you can see.
Hell
The,
yes, I love
bottom
it.
Left. Okay, guys, that's perfect. And well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It is a little bit redundant for WP to explain who he is and what he does, but just for procedure's sake, let us know who you are and what do you do, what you about, and what are your plans for what's going on.
All right, well, I'm WP. I do a YouTube channel, sometimes stream. My current plans are basically to do a lot more of this over the next week. I'm just going to be talking about the story and picking it to pieces and seeing what I think about it. And yeah, I mostly just talk about the lore of this game. Have a lot of fun.
How much of your lore speculations are going to be exactly what I said?
Well,
in this
there's
stream?
one thing I'm totally going to talk. I'm going to steal Inks' thing here about Bram's going to hit Jormag.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think that's really cool. So that will be appearing somewhere at some point. Yeah.
Nice. So, get ready for that in the future. Let's see. Inks. What about you? What do you do anything? On the
Yeah.
internet?
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube at MMO Inks. I think most people here probably know that by now, but that's very cool. Big, sizable audience today, so check all that stuff out. Within the next week, I should start having videos roll out about this particular episode, and we'll see how that goes.
All right.
Okay.
So be
All
sure
right.
to check all of that stuff out. And in the top left-hand corner, weighing in at £1 million, because he is an entire planet, World of Enders.
Hey, I'm Boots.
Bad Builds?
I'm Boots. You can find me at, bootsbadbuilds.com. I wonder if that exists. Probably not. Okay, never mind. On YouTube at World of Enders. If you like terrible lore speculation, I'm your man.
I just
that
like
could
to
be
say,
a new
by the way,
series.
over the course of this stream, I've earned about a stack, or maybe slightly under a stack of heavy supply bags from turret farming.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I have almost 2 stacks.
That's pretty good.
Get in on that.
That's some serious loot right there.
Yeah, right?
Damn.
It's ridiculous.
The price of heavy supply bags has gone down quite a bit.
Oh, the market's going to crash. It's not going to work forever.
It was 10 gold when I checked a little while ago.
Yeah, 10 gold for a stack. I just opened mine because I want the mats.
It's down to like 8 gold or something like that now.
No, I just checked.
Is it?
1045. 1045 if you list, unless you're just selling directly to people.
Yeah, that's what I do. Oh, you list it. Oh, okay.
I list it. Yeah, no, I'm patient. I don't need the money right away.
And finally, in the bottom right corner, it is me. If you've enjoyed this stream, guys, be sure to drop a follow on the stream. Just do it. Come on, it's been a great tea time. It's some top tier content. Talked about everything. We've explained everything, guys. Your brains can probably barely contain the wisdom that we have espoused today, guys. I mean, come on. Look at these people. It's too much, guys. It's just too good. And then there's YouTube as well. Look how many. There's loads of tea times. Go there. Watch them all. Watch all the tea times. Hey, don't link. So that's MMO Inks, not my Twitter, guys. I'm chasing him down. I'm taking him out. Remember to follow me on Twitter. We're chasing Inks down, okay? We are going to easy him, okay? Don't. No, you can follow Inks as well. His Twitter's actually really good, so definitely check that out. He's like loads of spicy stuff about how he wants a Taimi voodoo doll. It's really good stuff, guys. Okay, it's really good stuff. And then if you really like me, you can subscribe as well because you get emotes. Look at Teapot Thunk, guys. Look at Teapot what? Look at Teapot Game. This is all top tier stuff. But you can do that if you want to. Be sure to follow, subscribe, watch permanently. Just have it on a playlist going through all of these fine gentlemen's content of every day of your life. And then big shout out to WP for coming on, taking time out your busy schedule to join us here today. Excellent to have you. It's been a long time coming. People have been, excited about this for ages.
Anytime.
And it is now time for us to say goodbye for now, and we'll see you guys later. And apparently, they want you to advertise a lottery or something. So you want to go ahead and drop that?
We're giving away like 2,500 Ecto. So if you guys want like a lot of Ecto. If one of my guys is in chat, he can post the links. But we're giving a huge amount of Ectos away, and the more people who join, the more Ectos get rolled in. I wasn't going to talk about it. They've been bugging me the whole time. I see it. It's but yeah. There's an Ecto giveaway going on.
All right,
hit that audience up. Enter the Ecto giveaway.
Go ahead and get in on that, guys. If anyone wants to post a link, please feel free to do so. Go ahead and drop that link. Links are fine here, guys. And yep, that's going to be it. See you guys later. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff for everyone here, and we'll see you later. We'll see you around on our little
bye-bye
on our respective channels. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day. See you later.